I'm Natalie.
I'm MaryBeth.
And I'm Hannah. Welcome to the Stride Sisters podcast. On today's episode, we have a special guest here to talk about her adventure through the concrete jungle where dreams are made of. MaryBeth recaps her experience this year at the New York City Marathon. So, lace up your shoes and step into the magic with us.
Are your holiday decorations up yet?
The Christmas tree went up last night. All the Halloween stuff is still up, so we have an interesting
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, basically. It'll all be coming down shortly. We have a lot of tidying to do, and we have to figure out where everything's gonna go, like for storage, like how much can go in the attic versus how much has to go in like closets and stuff. And I just generally don't like picking anything up, to be honest. I don't like housework. It's great because Ben loves that stuff. I don't know if he loves it, but he tolerates it better than I do. But Ben found the ideal way to get me to clean. So, Mom, listen up, in case you were ever curious. He knows he knows what rewards I want. And last night we were sitting on the couch, watching a cheesy Christmas movie. And I asked him, like, hey, do you want to have the tree up before Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving? Like, normally we put it up before Thanksgiving, but we have like a lot of travel plans and we're leaving early this year to go to my parents for Thanksgiving. So basically it has to go up this week and we just have a lot going on. So we were like, well, if we do that, then we need to get it. We might as well do it now. But if we want it after Thanksgiving, then we just do it when we get home. And I was like, can we put up the Christmas tree tonight? He said, well, we should probably pick up the mess that is our house before we make more of a mess by getting more stuff out. And I was like, ugh, fine. And I think we had the entire downstairs picked up in like 20 minutes or less. I was motivated.
Love it. A not unsimilar story over here. This is the first weekend where I have felt well enough to
Yeah.
pick up, because I had big aspirations a couple weeks ago of, if you get through your to-do list, you get to put up your tree.
Yay.
And you know what happened? I was at urgent care less than 12 hours later. So I also kind of had just certain stuff that, with a lot of travel and whatnot that had needed to be organized and put away. Like we went in, our tree's up. And it's funny because I feel like because my birthday is relatively close to Christmas, it's in the month before Christmas. It's been kind of okay, it's an after Thanksgiving or after my birthday thing. But now I'm like, let's go. Like I honestly, I was ready November 1st to put it up. But that was the whole, aforementioned sickness thing that's been finally going away now. But yeah, no, I was ready. I turned on Muppet Christmas Carol while I was getting stuff. And I will say I did a really good job with organizing everything last year when I did to put it away.
That's
it's
good.
Also figuring out where your stuff's gonna go. Like when you you're used to how you organize it in your old house and whatever, your old living space, and here, I made it so easy for myself this year.
Yeah.
Except I probably am missing a shoe ornament somewhere. That's probably, how I'm like, wow, did I really not buy that? No, I did. It's just missing.
Yeah.
But no, I got it up. Our unconventional star for this year, for now, until I find a star. I have found a star I liked. I just have to order it. But for the top of the tree is my Chicago Marathon medal, which is a star.
Yay! It is your first star.
last year, it was the lamb chop toy I had bought for my mom's puppy because it was a little reindeer lammy, and lamb chop is both an angel and a star. So lamb chop adorned the top of the tree, and then we got sick for Christmas. So it all just kind of his and Lammy stayed there for a while
Mhm.
until the next trip I made home. But I did find a tree topper that I do like now, but it's nice. It's kind of I have my little Christmas village I bought from Costco last year, and I like all my sparkly lights and
Mhm.
stuff. And I guess technically I still have my Halloween stuff out too because Skelly lives out on
Mhm.
my on my stairs going
Mhm.
upstairs. So Skelly got his hat though, his Christmas hat.
That's cute. Yeah, we're shooting, I don't know. I think we'll probably still have some, I don't know, because it's just this week. I was gonna say we'll probably keep some of our, like, generic fall stuff up for a little bit longer,
Mm,
but then by the time we come home from Thanksgiving, it's gonna be Christmas all the way. So maybe not. Maybe all the Halloween will just come down and we'll switch to full Christmas. But the HOA has weird rules, so we can't, it'll just be full Christmas inside. We'll have to wait a little bit longer, I think, for decorations outside the house. I think we
interesting.
can only do 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after the holiday. I know, isn't that feel wild? I'm just gonna wait and see what other neighbors do because that's what we did for Halloween, and we did technically break that 2-week rule, but nothing happened. So,
That's so interesting, especially well, I guess you guys don't normally get snow even though you've seen snow this year and I
yeah.
haven't yet. But that's interesting because like most of my cul-de-sac is all like lighted up. Like we put our lights up like in an intent for it to be Halloween related. So
Mhm,
they've been up and they'll be up
mhm.
till like January. But that's so interesting that it's like a two before and two after.
I think some lighting, they don't really care. It's more of, like, the other decorations that they care about because
Like
a
blow up
couple
Santa.
houses, yeah. Other houses have like, lights and stuff on their houses, like, more, like, permanent looking lights,
Mhm.
and that seems to be okay. I'll have to ask our neighbors, because they have those lights up, just see. But we don't have any inflatables. I wanna do some, like, DIY projects this year. We shall see if I actually follow through. I have a lot of ambitions, usually. Just like this year, we intended on making a paper-shaped pumpkin. We did not make the paper-mache pumpkin. We have all the stuff for it, though, so maybe next year.
I did buy extra lights last year and I found something at Costco that's like specifically for hanging lights. So I'm
Mhm,
debating what I want to do with with that. I
mhm,
w- my fireplace is beautiful as is and like I kind of I don't I think I would like I might have Mr. Natalie just hold them up there to see if I like kind of like a draped like twinkle light thing around there
mhm.
or if I think it looks like it's too much. But I'm yeah, I think I'm slowly, like, acquiring, the different Christmas things, like,
Mhm.
slowly kind of building it up.
Yeah.
I was excited to put my doormat out because I like my Christmas doormat more than I like my, regular one because it's
Mhm.
bigger. It doesn't, but that was exciting, and we're hollying and jollying,
Yeah.
and because I also like to take it I like my stuff down, like,
Yes, you do.
quickly.
I I tend to leave mine up uh, up until, like, Valentine's Day sometimes, at least inside. Which, I
So
mean, when we lived in the apartment, everything was inside, so
that's true. So, it's because, like, then, like, I don't ever want to get to a point where I'm like, "I need this out of my face because it's March."
oh, I don't have that feeling. I left my when I lived in the apartment before Ben and I got together, when I lived in Mississippi, I left my tree up for 2 years straight. Never
Honestly,
took
that's
it down.
inspired.
It wasn't decorated for other holidays. It just was up.
Well, it's, like, something that makes me happy too, like,
Mhm.
I don't know.
I lived
Um
alone, it brought me joy, I liked
mm,
having the ambiance, like
that's true. Yeah, I usually because also like that space, like since I just brought up like travel and whatnot, that's where, when I start getting ready to like go to Dopey and
mhm.
whatnot, I like start laying out the things that need to make it into the suitcases. Like
Yeah.
it ends up crap corner and like of my little piles of things that are all going into my bags. So usually by the time that's coming around, I'm like, this needs to come down.
Yeah. Ours will end up coming down earlier, I think, this year just because we have to rearrange furniture. in
Oh,
order
yeah.
for the tree to be there just a little bit. So we'll want the furniture to go back to normal eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
On a non decorating related note, although depending on how vigorously you're decorating, maybe could be considered training.
I was pooped.
I yeah, right? I did not train this week. I If you listened to last week, you heard about my 6 blisters. I don't know if you know this, but just 1 blister sometimes takes a long time, let alone 6 spread across both feet. So it's not like I mean, it's probably better from, like, a gait standpoint because I wasn't, like, favoring one foot or the other because they both were uncomfortable. Um, but I, unfortunately had to serve them an eviction notice. They have all been popped. Um, Sorry, Rise and Run crew. And they are all healing very nicely. It was a necessary evil. They were for sure just getting worse the longer I left them. I gave them their time, tried to give them a head start for the healing to happen, you know, beneath the surface. I gave them 2 days and then ripped the plug or whatever, pulled the plug on them. And yeah, they seem to be healing well. I should be fine this week. I just wanted to give them as much time to like do their thing because I don't want to rush it even without doing much. You just are on your feet, period, existing unless you I guess have a job that lets you lay on your couch all day or something or keep your feet up in the air cuz like it's even just sitting, your feet are still down. So there's
Yeah.
still accumulation going on, but they are healing very nicely. I have one on the I don't remember whose it is, honestly, but one of the ones on my left heel, it keeps trying to like balloon back up. So I have to keep a close eye on that one. But we did nice first aid. No infections over here. Always wash your hands, kids, and then wash the wound, sterilize anything that will be coming in contact with it, and then seal that sucker up with some Vaseline, Neosporin, whatever, ointment you got, and cover it up so it doesn't get dirty.
Training wise on my end, I was sick still most of the first part of the week. Not fun.
Yeah.
It's like one of those that like it was like the gift that kept on giving. It was great. But
I would just try and look at it the same way I did of like get it out of the way before Dopey shows up. You don't want to be sick during marathon weekend. I didn't want to be sick during wine and dine, so like
yeah, we're done.
we're cashing
But
that in early.
it was good to get it out of the way. Like
Mhm.
my birthday's coming up, so if I was gonna get sick, I guess it was better to just get her done. Also, again, it had been like 2.5 years since I had come back with like a post run Disney weekend cold or even like
Mm.
Disney. So like that's pretty impressive.
It's a good
Like
run.
it's a pretty good run. It was springtime in 23 was the last time I had come home with a cold. So of any kind. And I mean, sometimes like you feel icky, but like meaning like I had to go to urgent care,
Yeah.
where I should have a punch card at this point and get like antibiotics for
Mhm.
it type of cold. So like one you really can't sleep off. So I was able to get back to a little bit of training. Weightlifting wise, that's going great. Feels good to be like back in with that. And I'm trying to really up my weights that I'm using and kind of like settle back in. Like I act like I wasn't like I was weightlifting at least once a week like while I was training for Chicago, so I don't know why I'm acting like I wasn't at all, but that's been good. The running not so good, but I think we're to the bottom of why why that was happening. And yeah, I also like I am about 8 miles away from beating my 2024 mileage. So
Ooh,
I think homie's just tired.
that's fair.
I think the concept of what like training actually like looks like for me is interesting kind of going forward because like the longest I've run, did do 6.5 this weekend.
Mm.
So I would say that's my longest in Chicago, but that's a bald faced lie because I ran wine and dine. So longest training run since
Mhm.
Chicago. So probably my longest training run since like September, because I really didn't do all too much before. It was pretty short before I went to Chicago in October. But so we'll kind of see training wise how I load back into things, because I don't want to overdo
I
it.
think it's going to be better than you think it will be.
I don't want to overdo it. The only thing I really want to overdo it on is really just strength training, just so I feel good. I want
Mm-hmm.
to feel really good again. And I
Minimize risk
think,
of injury.
yes, very much on that. I think coming out of this without like any kind of issues with the knee
Mm-hmm.
or the hip or the plantar, uh, any boo boos would be just really pretty much all we're going for. I think it's also kind of nice that, again, I think it's because my body said big fat no, is that I've given up the idea that I'm going to try to like race the full during January, because like stuff's, I don't want to say not going well super right now, but I just feel crinkly and crusty, and like I like God save my broken body as I am Rizzo the rat. But I think that that's good for me because it kind of keeps what I originally wanted, was that Dopey was going to be like, I'm going to vibe during that
Mm-hmm.
marathon. So I think that that's keeping things how I want it. It takes the pressure off. And then if you're rolling your eyes right now because I did something completely different during the marathon this year and you're speaking to me from the future, sorry. It's probably not going to happen though. And I think I'm fully on board with that and just kind of taking the vibes with it. But yeah, speaking of that whole marathon thing,
We have 50 days until Marathon Weekend 2026. Everyone, uh, still my heart. Literal heart palpitations. It's too close. I'm not ready.
no.
It's okay. It's all gonna work out. It's all gonna work out, guys.
You
It's
think I have a
all gonna
flight
work
yet?
out.
No.
I don't even have a hotel, so
That does make me feel better.
I don't have a hotel for Marathon Weekend. I don't have a flight for Tokyo. I don't have a lot of things. We have a lot going on. It's okay. We're vibing. However, if you are on top of your training and such, you will have a 30-minute run on Tuesday, Thursday for everything up to marathon, and 30 to 45 for Goofy, 45 for Dopey. We are on training week 4 for the 5K with a 30-minute long run this weekend. Training week 10 for the 10K. Ooh, like that. With a 30-minute long run this weekend. Week 11 for the half. The beginner and experienced half both have a 3-mile long run. We are training week 21 for the marathon, Goofy, and Dopey. Listen closely, there's some variation this week. The beginner plan has a 6-mile long run. The beginner 10-week post wine and dine plan has a 21-mile long run. The experienced marathon, Goofy, and Dopey plans have a 7-mile long run. We have 72 days until Disneyland Half Marathon Weekend 2026. Tuesday, Thursday, if you're not running the challenge, 30 minutes. If you are, 30 to 45 minutes. We are on training week 1, baby, for the 5K. You have a 1.5-mile long run this weekend. Training week 7 for the 10K with a 3.5-mile long run. And training week 8 for the half and challenge. All distances have an 8-mile long run, but the challenge also has a 1 mile the day before. We have 100 days until Princess Half Marathon Weekend 2026. 30 minutes if you're not running the challenge, and 30 to 45 if you are on Tuesdays and Thursdays. No training for the 5K yet, just vibes. We are on week 3 for the 10K with a 2.5-mile long run. Training week 4 for the half and challenge. The beginner half plan has a 2-mile long run, and the experienced half and challenge plans have a 5-mile long run. We have 149 days until Springtime Surprise Weekend 2026. Your proof of time deadline is January 5th, 2026. So you are coming up. We have about a month and a half left. So you have time if you didn't get a proof of time during Wine and Dine, if you've got a turkey trot coming up, a jingle jog, whatever. You have a little bit more time to secure your proof of time. We have 338 days until Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend 2026. Natalie, what's with the news this week?
So, this first piece of news is something that is news you know, but news we don't, because they are, we have had a little teaser from Run Disney on Friday of last week where they have Minnie in her princess outfit, Mickey in his prince outfit, and saying stay tuned. So, we're recording this part on Sunday. And so we probably got princess medals yesterday, your time, tomorrow, our time. Or maybe even on drop day. I don't know. But we're going to probably get princess medals. So we're excited for that.
Yeah. So,
But we'll talk about them next week, assuming, we got them, this week. But something interesting is that Disney is expanding the free luggage airport transfer to arrivals. So kind of reminiscent of the old Disney's Magical Express service, but also I'm going to clarify. So this is only for Southwest flights in and out of Orlando International Airport. So not Sanford, not Tampa, not that's the only one. And it's limited for a couple of different resorts that already have the departure option. So it's the value resorts, All Star Movies, Music, Sports, Art of Animation, and Pop Century. It begins today, November the 18th. And the bag check is the third party provider that's going to be bringing the bags to the resort. And you fill out a registration form from between 30 and 5 days before your flight. So it's not something you can kind of do super last minute. And you give them your hotel confirmation, you give them your your flight information, and then they'll pick up your bags at bag claim in Orlando and then bring them to your resort.
that is terrifying to me.
I think from the Run Disney perspective of things, that's terrifying.
Yeah. I I really like the departure part. It still scares me. I'm just like a control person in that sense of like wanting to be like, I gave it to an employee. I mean, I guess it's the same. You're trusting the third party. There's just more people that you have to track down to figure out what happened if something goes wrong. But I know that it's a very cool feature that a lot of people love. Even our friends used the departure option during Wine and Dine, and they said it was great. So if you don't have control issues like me, then maybe it's great for you. Yeah, I watched some people drop off their bags for Southwest when I was putting my bags in, what is it called? Like, just like
Storage.
luggage storage, basically. So I could go to the parks on my last day. And yeah, it's just like being at the airport. They put the bags on, they count them, they put the tags and everything. Uh, and they're all checked in with third party, and then they take them off to the airport. So basically they go into storage until basically they have like other vans, and they just like load a whole van up, take all those bags, and they're just going round the clock. And I think when they start to get like a lot, they call for extra vans and stuff. But it seemed like they had a pretty smooth operation. They know what they're doing, and they've done it before. So it's a nice perk for the value resorts, considering.
Probably based on like the volume that bag
Mm,
check can handle. And like you have consolidated into these two areas. So, Pop Century and Art of Animation are across the Hourglass Lake from each other. All of the All Star complex is
mhm.
also all, you know, in one little area. So I bet that like in terms of how many, you know, vans that I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of different bags and whatnot, but in terms of like you can have like a high volume of the guests on property covered by this service
Mhm.
that are, you must be flying Southwest, which is when it flies a ton of flights into Orlando. You cover it without like, having to circumnavigate all of Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
But
No, the arrivals part is the part that freaks me out the most personally. Not the departures so much. Like, I kind of like trust that that's all gonna
mhm.
work out for whatever reason. But the arrivals is like you got to make sure you actually have all your luggage tagged properly, I guess, because it's not like they know what your suitcase looks like. So they have to look at that tag that the airline put on and, like, double check every single one, and I just that seems like a lot of work.
So did you ever back in the day, did you ever use Magical Express?
No,
Okay.
not to my
So
knowledge, I don't think so. We can Mom, write in, let us know.
fact check. Because I think I'm trying to remember when it started. I want to say it was about 2005-ish. Because I remember it coming on the scene because we used to get picked up by somebody and they would take us to Publix. We would get like some groceries, water stuff, and then we'd go to the resort. But well, how it worked was they gave you like a special like Mickey tag, and like those
Mhm.
ones in addition to your bag tag from your airline, from
Mm.
Southwest, Delta, etc. And then so then the people who worked, it was the like kind of like third party, like with mirrors,
Mhm.
they would knew like that the yellow, like the additional tagged yellow thing is
Yeah,
a Mickey bag.
yeah.
Uh, but I would be watching my air tag because okay,
Mhm.
non-race weekend, I would be a little chiller about it. During a race weekend, I watch my air tag from the time I have any sort of connection to the outside world on. Like, as soon as, like, I'm like, I make sure that, like, even though, like, I know when I get the notification from American or Delta or whatever, like, "Your bag XXX is on board the plane." I'm like, "Okay, great." But, like, I watch it to make sure I know where it is. I have positive
Mhm.
control of the bag, because I have my running stuff in there or my stuff that I need for the weekend, and, like, yes,
Mhm.
it wouldn't be a disaster if it would be expensive, but not a disaster if I had to rebuy some fuel. 'Cause, I'm lucky, like, I don't like I I tolerate most of the ones that they already sell at the expo, so I'm interested because obviously I'm, the hope, I'm sure by most people, is that this is gonna then roll out to either include more of the airlines, include more of the resorts around, and eventually, like, this is a pilot that's
Mhm.
going to expand to almost maybe not quite Magical Express again, where you have the bus and it's all gone in, but I wonder if this third party vendor, I don't know, that's they're handling the volume as they can now, and then maybe there are going to be some plans to expand
Yeah, that would be cool.
for sure. On this day, November 18th of 1928, Mickey Mouse stars in Steamboat Willie, the first commercially successful animated cartoon to use synchronized sound. There's a lot of cool history behind Steamboat Willie. And it's funny because this isn't the very first Mickey Mouse cartoon made or released, but it is still kind of considered Mickey Mouse's birthday and his true debut. But Steamboat Willie is a classic for sure. And
He's definitely touted as the OG.
oh, yeah,
It is kind of the first time he looks more of like a mouse though, right? And less of like
a rat.
his predecessor where he looks like a rabbit.
Yeah. The morph from Oswald the Lucky Rabbit into like kind of a ratty looking into like mouse. Um, Another fun fact on today, on this day in 1968, actor Owen Wilson is born in Dallas, Texas. He provided the voice for Lightning McQueen, Ka-chow.
Ah. Ka-chow.
He's also part of the Wes Anderson cinematic universe, not in a Disney way, but I find it fascinating how like many repeat actors that Wes Anderson uses in his films, and like who's part of the WACU, the Anderson Cinematic Universe. But it's kind of like like he was in Night at the Museum as well, another like Disney credit of his. But it's really funny to see like sometimes like you have like your childhood nostalgic actors or and stuff, and it's like, oh, they can actually like act, not like in that way that like it was like a bad, but it's kind of like, I know this person, and like you see them in this other role, it's like, oh, okay, pop off.
I think that's how, like, kids think of their teachers, that they don't exist outside of school, but they do because they're people.
Yeah, they do. Like it's like, oh wow, you are an actual real person.
Mhm.
But it's kind of like, oh yeah, like that's Lightning McQueen, or it's the cowboy in Night at the Museum who beefs with the Spartan. And
Love that.
then it's like, oh shoot, he can like actually act outside of my nostalgia goggles for Night at the Museum. But it
Hey,
is interesting.
that's a true classic right there. That is a
Oh,
good movie.
it is. It is a very stacked cast. in terms of like the different, like, Robin Williams, obviously, Ben Stiller. There's a lot of really good actors in it. So this wasn't a dunk on that, but it's like one of those like, okay, like, but yeah, no, Owen Wilson is quite talented. Um, and besides just saying, wow.
Wow.
So speaking of something that's like kind of wow, comes into, Night at the Museum, it does take place in New York. We have a guest today to talk about her experience with the New York City Marathon this year.
Welcome, MB.
Hi, friends.
So, MB, tell the people, who are you? You've been on before one time, but like remind the people.
I'm MaryBeth, go by MB. Why is it always so awkward when someone asks you, like, who are you? I'm like, I'm no one.
I'm a
This is my
human.
this is my name.
Okay, don't worry, we'll help you out there. Tell the people what's your connection to Run Disney?
Started Run Disney in 22. I signed up for the 23 half marathon princess. And I was like, I just want to run one race. Like, I just want to say, like, I ran through the castle half marathon. We'll call it quits. Uh, did not call it quits. I actually planned to go to Princess the next year because I had no idea about a challenge. So I was like, well, now I have to do the challenge. And then I was like, oh, well, there's this thing called Dopey. Well, now I have to do Dopey. And here we are. I just did my first wine and dine. So now we'll keep on keeping on.
Yeah. Do you think okay, I know the answer, but like do you think when you've run all the races at all the weekends and you've checked all the boxes that you'll be done?
I feel like I will prioritize the weekends that I liked more
Mhm.
unless like themes are on point. Like if there's ever like a Star Wars weekend, even if my feelings are weird to like, because I'm assuming it would be wine and diner springtime. Still haven't done springtime. That's on my list. But I 100% will do a Star Wars race if it falls on one of those weekends.
And what about running? What got you into running?
I turned 30 and I was like, I just want to start doing things that like scare me. Like, I just want to do things that are like crazy, like off the wall, like health wise. Just do things that I felt like doing. So I ended up starting out with one of my friends. We used to live together when our husbands were at UNC Chapel Hill. She was like, hey, come do a sprint triathlon with me. And I was like, yeah, let's go. Fun fact, the swim and the run was like the easiest part. I picked up a bike the day before the race
Oof.
and then did 14 miles on a bike, to which I have never sat on a bike since that race. Not a biker. So I'm finding things that like I like and don't like. I chose to do a Spartan that year. I love Spartan. That's something I like to go back to yearly as well. But yeah, Run Disney's just been awesome. Like the community, the people, the races. It's opened up a whole new world for me.
That's amazing. And look, you just told the people who you are. Easy peasy.
Yeah, thanks.
You did your first Dopey in 25.
I did.
How did you feel about marathons after that?
Oof. I actually had a really, really bad time after Dopey. I almost canceled going to Princess because that come down after Dopey was just, it was too much for me. Like the marathon blues, like you always like hear about it, but like going through it, like I had no joy in running. Like I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, and I don't know if it was like the lead up and then it's done. And then you're like, well, what do I do with my life now?
Mhm.
Because I've done half marathons. I've done this. Like this felt like the biggest thing. And then it was over. So I swore off marathons completely. I did not sign up for Dopey like all my cool friends did for the second year. Because I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to train for a marathon. Like halves are great. Halves I feel good after. So yeah. Yeah.
What's super interesting is that I feel like you fall into like one of two camps, like post Dopey, where I usually feel very renewed and like reinvigorated going into Princess. Post Dopey, because then there's the whole like, I I don't have to run a marathon at the end of that. Woohoo. Or like, like I take the grind of like the marathon and I'm like, okay, well, you know, now I'm excited to be back in like, my sparkle glitter tutu love and, a little bit less stressful of a weekend, but still like, being at a place I enjoy. Or like kind of you get the marathon blues pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Me.
I've had interesting like late onset dopey downers where usually it comes like after Princess.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like, I think it's been interesting. Or sometimes there's I don't know, I obviously somewhat keep busy, understatement of the century, but sometimes it just comes, like, later on, it's like but because I remember also having the same rationale of, like, after my first dopey, it was like, "This is gonna be the year of the half. I'm not doing a marathon next year." That's not how that
Mm-hmm.
worked. I was like, "You know what? I'm ready to have, like, the year of the half, like, just or, I don't wanna say just, but for me, only halves, like, focusing on the distance, focusing on getting better at that, and then obviously
Mm-hmm.
a marathon happened. As, time passes and I'm sure you're starting to train for wine and dine and things are, you're like, I'm not training for a marathon right now." Directly in our message, saying to me, "You know, this is convincing me to never run a marathon again." Uh, it's a month before the New York City Marathon, and you get a call. Email.
Yeah. So, I applied to be a shock star last year. So this 2025 was my first full year. And I like they always post races, right? They're like, hey, if you're interested in running as a shock star, like apply, like different things like that. And like it's November now. So like, I don't know how they give the bibs or anything. But yeah, on October 15th, I would wake up as I normally do to get my kids ready for school. And I'm scrolling through my email and I see, hey, Shocks has an extra bib for the New York City Marathon. If you're interested, go to this link. And I was like, well, what, like, to run to, I don't know, like my brain, like, whoop out. So I clicked on it and I was like, like, we're 18 days before the race at this point. Running a marathon again, like, it scared me, but also I was like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And then I was like, man, I don't want to spend the money before wine and dine because we had a whole bunch of plans with friends and everything. So I'm like, well, let me just go through this application. And it is normally like when you enter the lottery, like they ask all the questions, like your finish time, your this, your that, the da. And then we get to price, and it was like 300 and something dollars. And then underneath of that, and this is like not a braggy, but like really cool feeling of it said sponsored by Shocks, price 0.00.
Ah!
Immediately, I go to DJ and I was like, we're going to New York. I was like, I don't know how we're going to do this. I was like, but I will never be given this opportunity again in my life. We got to figure this out. So I'm walking to the bus and I'm telling my oldest, Barrett, I'm like, I just got the craziest opportunity to run the New York City Marathon. And he's like, Mommy, you have to go. You have to do this. You
Hmm.
get to go to New York City. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, cool. So as I filled the application out, I actually let him hit the like submit application.
Oh.
So he was super excited. But then I get the email and it's like, hey, just so you know, like you're not actually registered until you get a follow-up email. So I was like, I want to be excited, but I'm also like, maybe they were like, oh, just kidding. We actually didn't mean to send this to you. And you're never going to get that. Next day, I did get the like, congratulations, you're running the New York City Marathon, which was equally the craziest feeling of I'm so excited to also, did you remember that a marathon is 26 miles long? So that's kind of
Don't
how that.
undersell yourself. Don't forget that point too, ma'am.
But yeah, like it was super cool. Again, like once in a lifetime opportunity. I decided I was like, I'm gonna do this. And I know there's like a lot of hate in runners world of like people getting last minute bibs. They're undertrained. which I did feel undertrained, but I also was training for a half marathon. So I was like, I have at least a base, and it wasn't my first one. If this would have been my first marathon, I probably wouldn't because of the like unknown. But knowing, like, even with Dopey, like mile 18 to the finish, like that's when it got a little wonky. So I kind of prepped myself for that when I went into the New York one.
Plus, like if you think about it, and this is like a little, you were trained for a half, right? You had been training since July, if not earlier in June, when
Yeah.
starting some base training. So it's not like you were completely like starting from zero trying to get there. Because yeah, like
Mhm.
there's the safety aspect of that, and
Right.
it's almost like plenty of people have situations in which they, life happens too, where they're like, "Can I still do this?" And my advice usually is like, if you feel like you can safely complete the distance, you just got to treat it like a super long run, like a long run,
Hmm.
but also like slow down your pace, treat it just like this is like the most fun long run I'm ever going to have. So like slow your pace, don't worry about time, just kind of worry about just completing, just get the job done in a way, and don't like stress, like, cuz it's not like you can.
Similar to what we tell first time marathoners.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps kind of with reframing, like just what you got. And I mean, there are people who swear by not going above certain distances and time, like on feet
Hmm.
too. I personally don't really subscribe to that because I don't think that being out for 3 hours, if I'm going to be out there for 6, is beneficial personally. Like, I don't think that's enough preparation. And plus, there's the mental side of things. And, there's still stuff that will surprise you during a marathon.
Like Gatorade.
Just just how much the Gatorade could affect you. And especially when you go when you've taken it up to mile 12, but then your tummy starts hurting at mile 14. Wild.
Was
Um,
there Gatorade at New York MB?
There was. It was yellow the entire time. Some tasted better than others because I'm assuming they were mixing. Some just tasted like pure water, and then others you were like, wow, that's concentrated.
Mhm. It's
mhm.
because they just take it's like if you were I don't know, I used to buy them when I was in high school, the little canisters of the dry powder. They literally just take the whole canister, dump it into one of those big water cooler things, and then fill it up with a hose, but there's no, like, specific instruction depending on, like, how long those volunteers like, do they have experience volunteering? Do they know what they're
Hmm.
doing? Do they pour 1 tub? Do they pour 2 tubs? Do they accidentally dump half the tub on the ground in the process? I don't know.
Which, like, I even sometimes don't mix my own, like, all that great, if I'm being real with you. It's like, well, we're at the bottom of the barrel, like, we're a little sandy right now with my tailwind. If
Yes.
I don't, I mean, usually if I have it in like a bottle that's on my vest, like it kind of shakes enough with me running that like we get all mixed up. But
True.
I kind of love like that story of taking the chance and especially just like accepting that certain things that might just be a little bit different, but also kind of being smart about it. Cause I remember that was kind of your biggest like hang up when we were chatting about it of like, what do I do?
Yeah. Because, like, I was so, like, I wanted Wine and Dine, like, because it was my first experience at, like, Wine and Dine. So, like, it was so hard to not, like, well, to enjoy Wine and Dine for what it was, to know that next weekend I was leaving again. So that was like the hardest part. And like knowing, like, I mean, thank God for Hannah on that half because your girl was going through so many emotions because my knee was hurting, my hip was hurting, and I was in such an awful headspace because I was like, girl, you have to run twice this distance in
Next
less than
weekend.
a week. And I like, and that's what I kept telling. I was like, it's not even this race. Like, I know I'll finish this, but like the mental aspect, like, it was so bad. I felt so bad, but
It's okay. We all have
I,
those days.
I know. And Hannah was wonderful. She was so encouraging. And they were like medical tent. And I was like, if I stop, I'm going to stop forever. So let's just keep going.
It's like the Dopey effect, even though they were a week apart, of you
Yeah.
overthink everything during that half during Dopey. everything.
Yes.
You have to think about, it's like, oh my God, like it's mile 4. I feel like not great right now. And oh my God, I have to do double this tomorrow. Or
Right.
I don't get my dopey or my goofy or my, medal, like type of, it's like the dopey effect, but just kind of like stretched out over like the period
Yeah.
of a week. Cause at least you have
That
like
sounds
some
worse,
recovery time.
honestly.
You have more recovery. You have the recovery time, right? Like versus like
That's true.
you got less than 24 hours after you finish the half to like be ready for the full.
But you also have a week to panic instead of 24 hours to panic.
That's true.
That is
That's
also
also
true.
true.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. And also like the logistics of like back-to-back travel.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about the logistics, MB.
Yeah, let's talk about like your travel. Had you been to New York City before?
In 2011, my best friend lived in New Jersey. So I went up and we went for a day trip. So we just did like the big hits like Times Square, Rockefeller Center, and did all that day trip and left. So going into this New York trip was brand new. Like DJ had never been to Times Square, has never done that. So the hardest part about this was to not be too touristy
Mm-hmm.
because we were only there for such a short amount of time. So um I Halloween is something that's like so special to me because like my kids are still young and I know one day they will grow out of this. So like while they're young, like I like enjoying like the trick-or-treating aspect of that. So I knew I was going to stay home or try to get like, a red eye to New York the morning of Saturday. So we got a 6 a.m. flight into JFK from Raleigh. So landed early. And it was such a crazy experience because I've never flown into New York. So like seeing the skyline and everything like as you come in was just crazy. Took my first train ride. Went from JFK to Penn Station. That was fun. And then we were half a mile away from our hotel. So we got out of Penn Station, walked over, dropped bags. And it's the last day of Expo. So I'm telling DJ, I'm like, I have to get there. Like this finisher jacket is I have to get one. Like I didn't want to order it online. Like I wanted to touch and feel and buy it at the Expo. So we dropped everything and walked because this was also a terrible mental battle. All the lifts are so expensive. Like it's so expensive. And I'm like, well, it's only a mile and a half away. Like that's really not that bad to walk. So we walked everywhere this whole weekend. We clocked 8 miles on Saturday. Probably not the best idea I could have done, but we wanted to see everything and like walk
Fine.
around and we got drop bags, walked over to the Javits Center, which was crazy. Like it's so hard to not try to compare a Disney race to a world major race because I'm like, oh man, like, but I love Disney Expo. And then you walk up to this massive building with like glass and everything, and you're like, oh, like this is a little better than a Disney Expo because it's just on such a grand scale, but also like reminding myself, like, there's only 7 of these races in the entire world. Like, of course, this is going to be on a much massive scale than Disney races. But yeah, Expo was great. Getting my bib was extremely anticlimactic. Because they have the bells, like, as you get your bib. So I walk over to my number and the girl is searching, 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 searching. And then she keeps looking in different bins. And of course, DJ's like recording. He's like, yeah, you're about to get your first world major bib. Like, I'm so excited for you. Searching, searching, searching. Then she grabs someone else and she was like, I can't find this girl's bib. I just
Oh my
turned to
gosh.
DJ and I was like, could you imagine if this was a sick joke? Like, could you imagine if
Oh.
they just don't have a bib? And I don't run and I'm like, I'm going to go home and cry. So she's like, oh, I found a paper. It was my name on a folded piece of paper with my bib on it, and she was like, oh, you need to go to runner's information. So go over to runner's information. DJ, again, holding the phone, ready to go. And she's like, I don't have your bib. You have to go back to the numbers. And I'm like, well, the numbers sent me here. I don't know what to do. And then I remember Shock sent an email that the bib I was getting had a VIP sticker on it. So I just tell the lady, I'm like, hey, I don't know if this has to do with anything, if we pick things up differently. She goes, oh, okay, yeah, like go over to the VIP booth and ask them for your bib. So we walk over there. Again, I'm like, this is it. I'm gonna get this bib in my hands. And she was like, oh no, we don't have bibs. You have to go
Oh my
back to the
gosh.
runners. And I'm like, this is a sick joke at this point. Like, so finally, like DJ puts his phone down. This girl walks over, and we're just talking. What felt like an eternity, but it was probably only like 2 minutes. She walked over and goes, oh, here's your bib. And I was like, can you walk behind the desk and can I give you the bib back? And then you give it back to me so I can record this moment. And the girl looked at me like I had 14 heads, but I was like, man, I like, this was not how I thought. Like, I thought I was going to get the bells of like first world major, like how they celebrate runners. So yeah, eventually I will post my bib video, and just know that that was staged. That did not happen exactly like that.
Instagram versus reality.
It's the background scoop. If it makes you feel better, there were no bells, whistles, etc. for me in Chicago either. So if it makes you feel a little bit better,
Yeah.
that's but now that I think about it, I remember some of other people's stories. So it's like, yeah, like I would be in like panic mode. So you handled that like very well, because it would be like
I would be crying if I had been passed to a third person.
Oh my gosh. Like, and I just kept telling myself, I'm like, no, I have a confirmation. Like, I have a bib number. I have a little confirmation thing. Like, it has to be here, right? Like, I'm like, can you just put my name on something and let me run? Like, like please. But yeah, so that was crazy. But like immediately getting the bib, we walked into Expo, which it was last day. I know, Natalie, you went on last day too, which it felt heavy, but it wasn't terrible. Like I would compare it to like the second day of a Disney race, where it's like there's a bunch of people, but everyone kind of moves like decently. Like people were like bouncing around in the merch area. Like there was a couple like bottleneck points where you kind of had to wait, but no, I beelined it to the jacket I wanted, grabbed it, and I was like, okay, I'm good. And DJ's like, look around, like, and I was like, no, like this was the one thing I wanted. I did get it's that New York Energy shirt. And we went. Now, checkout, I did get a great experience during the checkout. They have bells and whistles, and this lady like saw DJ was recording, because I was like, I just want the bells. It's the first one. And she saw DJ was recording, and this lady stopped dead in her tracks, and she was like, hey everyone, it's this girl's first world major. Let's give her a round of applause. And I mean, the entire cash register, everyone around is like, woo, bells, 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 bells. So I was like, okay, like that was kind of nice. Also embarrassing, because then every single person is like looking at you, and I was like, don't do that either. But that was cool. But Expo was awesome. It's so funny because when I was listening to your recap, Natalie, and the hair frying, immediately I just started cackling because I looked at DJ and I was like, what smells like burnt hair? Like, what is going on in here? And I have never seen them at Disney races. So again, I'm missing so much at our Expo, but it was bad.
Yeah, you're no, they're certainly there. You're not missing much.
No,
because they could be, and I'm sure there's a bunch of very nice people who do work there, but they kind of just get a little
Yes.
passive aggressive with you. It's like, have you ever tried straightening your hair? I'm like, no, I have naturally curly hair. Goodbye. Or like they kind of like, it's like a backhanded compliment to you to like get you to sit with them.
Yes.
And
Your
Ugh.
hair's so beautiful.
it's like, have you ever tried, your hair is so great. Have you ever tried changing it completely? Fantastic. No. I think that getting in like the braiders like would be awesome at expos or
Oh,
at like
Oh,
Disney
yeah.
yeah.
expos especially.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just my, because it's like, yeah, like I'm gonna, sit here, get my hair curled, and then I'm gonna go run a marathon, maybe in the rain. So
Yeah.
it's like fascinating, but yeah, because it seems like them and like the clicks people are the people that people complain about the most at Run Disney stuff. So seeing both of them at like a World Major Expo was like, what are we doing?
Yeah, that was they did the like red light therapy in New York. They were like, "Have you ever tried red light therapy on your hair?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Oh, come over with me." And I was like, "No, no, no." I'm like, I'm good right now. Like I just wanna walk around. They're like, "But it's gonna help so much." I'm like, "I'm so good." Like I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's wonderful. I'm sure this product that they're selling is top notch. But I was like, because we were starving, but DJ was like, I'm absolutely not eating in here. He's like, we are in New York City. He's like, we are going to get good food after this. He's like, take as long as you need. You walk, you do everything. Like, I am here. But he's like, we are not eating in this building. So,
I'd love to hear what a local's perspective was of, like, what, like, the food might have been in that building, because I remember seeing, like, some of the vendors that they had for Chicago, because I made the same decision, and I was like, did we really send our best here?" Like, if
No.
this is some people's first experience, like, I'm not gonna because it's like the pizza's fine that I saw, but because I was like, "Oh, like, I'm sure I could get a good slice here." I'm like,
can
we could have maybe done, like, something a little better, and, like, like, I wasn't expecting Portillo's up in there, but, like, it was one of those things I was like, interesting." Were there any, like, kinda, like, cool booths you saw, and even if you didn't, like, really engage and you just walked past, or
Yeah, there were so many, like a huge name, like unfortunately, like the Aveeno one, like I'm a sucker for a wheel spin. So like if there's a wheel spin, I will sign up and give you my email to spin this dang wheel. So like the Aveeno one was awesome because of course, like they are giving away like big things. So I naturally win like a full size product and I was like, I
sleigh?
can't take this on the plane with me though, because we only brought backpacks because it was only a 2 night trip. So I was like, all right. Well, then the lady was like, oh, you can't take it. She just dug her hands in the free samples and she was like, you can just take all of these. So I literally have about 25, maybe even 30 Aveeno samples of just everything you could think of. Like, so that was kind of cool.
Pop off.
I did take your advice, Natalie, to put my name. So I picked that up at the expo. I pre-ordered one
Oh, I love
and
that.
got one. Did not realize I had to do it myself. I thought like they were going to do it. So like the night I'm like
Mm.
putting my letters down, my A was crooked, but say lovey.
Sign of
Um,
love.
yeah, yeah. But no, there were so many different vendors, fuel vendors. You had your like normal fleet fee and everything like that. Every shoe brand you could think of. So that was kind of cool. Shox was there, obviously. And that was kind of also really cool because in our like ambassador feed, like you talk to these people all the time, like the lady who runs the Shock Stars, and she's there so like you could put like the face with a name, like introduce yourself. So that was kind of cool. So many places you could like sign your name to be there. I unfortunately was not on the name wall. They stopped that about, I think it was September 22nd was their final name thing. So I was like, well, I guess I got to do this again because the name walls, that's a thing that like I feel like you have to have at least once or all 7 times. So
I was about to ask about the name wall.
yeah,
I
like
assume my name was on the name wall for Chicago, but I hated being in that expo building so much that I did not see it.
The only name wall they had was for people who were like finishing 7 stars or had just
Mm.
finished their 6 star. finishing their World Major Stars or the Chicago Distance Series. There wasn't a name
Ooh.
wall for the rest, which is
Oh,
interesting too because New
it
York ended up
is.
with like 59,000 finishers. Chicago was a little smaller, but yeah, super interesting that there's like, oh, name wall. No name wall. So I guess all three of us need our name wall.
Yes, we do. We have to go back and get our names on the wall because they had a special separate section for like there was like 400 in it was like 19 or 22 somewhere in that range of everyone getting their like 6-star medal. So they had their own separate like name wall. And that was kind of cool to see because it's like it was crazy to me and that's the one big difference of like Disney to a world major, and I don't know if you guys felt this way, but like it's like people are so like more serious and not in like a like I don't know how to say it, but like the people just standing in line. Like he's talking, he was like, "Oh, Tokyo, this like I feel like there should be a 6-hour like hard cutoff. Like if you can't make it, you can't make it." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, like so the like atmosphere of like people standing in line like that was definitely a lot different because I'm just over here like yay happy 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 and then you have like these serious runners and I was like
Mm.
oh
I don't like to refer to
okay
them as serious runners. I like to refer to them as toxic runners.
ooh
I'm just gonna put it out there because I there are plenty of people, professionals included, who are plenty happy to celebrate every runner of any speed.
fair
Most of the pros that have interviewed have said, "Are you kidding me? The people who are out there for like 7 hours, they're way cooler than I am. They're way more like I was only out here for like an hour, 2 hours, whatever,
right
depending on the distance." But those people are the ones who are trying hard.
truly
So
truly
I know like Boston gets a lot of the heat because it's like just so exclusive, but like
hmm
people need to chill.
I agree. I was like, we're just happy to be here. Like, honestly, like to get into one of these races, like, no matter what you do, like charity, lottery, like crazy once in a lifetime chances, like, it's just like no race is ever guaranteed. Like, you get to the start and like it is, no finish line is ever guaranteed. So it's like just to be there and experience it and like no matter like pace and stuff, like, I just feel like it's just a good thing and like I wish that was like a blanket to like other people too.
Every start line is a victory,
Yes
MD.
it does, girl.
No, I totally agree. I think that the gatekeepers kind of come out in full force.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know
We
what it
didn't
is
talk
about the
about
majors that attract them, but
yeah, in a lot of ways because what's interesting and I guess we would have to probably ask KG about this, but I feel like based on what her recollection was is that Boston itself actually like for the fact that you would think that because you have to time qualify and there always
mhm,
is like the commentary about the charity bibs or whatever, I feel like most like runners actually have a lot more respect for the charity people out in
mhm.
Boston and like, in
Mhm.
terms of celebrating everybody. I feel like that's a little bit and again, I'd need to have somebody actually confirm that. But that's a whole separate
With the expo, was there anything there that you like you said you got your finisher jacket, you took a little cruise around everything. Was there anything that you saw that you like that did pique your interest? You're like, "Oh, I wish I could have gotten that," or whatever, and it was, like, sold out, or
Yeah.
you
Unfortunately, I don't know if Chicago is this way too, but like you can pre-order, you can pre-buy everything. And then like the expo is kind of like what's left. So like that's crazy to me. I did want the it's that New York Energy hoodie. I'm a hoodie girl.
mhm,
Like even at Disney expos, like if there's a good hoodie, I will do that before I will take a shirt. Just because I
mhm.
like hoodies. So I was a little upset that they did not have that in a hoodie, but to be expected. I was a little late to the game. I did pre-look to kind of get an idea. And I know they still have some stuff, so I was like, I might go back like and get like a beanie or something. But it was crazy when we were talking to the checkout lady. I was like, okay, I was like, what's the biggest bill that you've seen come through here? And she was like, this I can't remember what nationality she said, but she was like, he came from overseas and he spent close to $1,900 just on merch. She was like, that's the highest I've seen. She was like, she was like, as far as like us, like Americans, she was like, max like $200. They're like, you know, one or two things and then we're out. Like everyone else is like buying everything. But she said it wasn't even like multiple of the same things. It's just like every little thing like they wanted. And I was like, I would too. Man, if I get into Berlin, Tokyo, I'm gonna buy
Let's not
everything.
talk about it. I do think they've started opening stuff for Tokyo of like seeing different things of what like because they do the similar to Chicago and New York like accommodations and all the things they just like all the links are starting to like open up and such and blah.
Exciting.
I will say on referring to the merch situation, and this because New Balance is for New York City, Nike is Chicago. I will say that, you know, it's now almost it's a little over a month post, but a couple weeks ago, a bunch of stuff went on
We love a
sale on
good
the Nike
sale.
had not purchased, and I still think that some stuff might go maybe toward like Black Friday, but there was some stuff that I 40% off list,
Yeah.
but not a full, you know, full price. And then also it's my birthday month,
That's
so if there's ever kind of stuff like in like that kind of ends up places, you know, maybe especially like because I don't know, does New Balance? I mean, you do the return situation where Nike, I will say for what I don't love about Nike, it seems like the returns are really, really
oh,
easy to
that's
do.
good.
So in terms of like, so if New Balance is really good about returns and stuff, like maybe like not inventory circulating, but kind of like in a way, like, you know,
Fair.
somebody returns that this that sweatshirt you're
Yes.
looking for. Or I'm
Hey,
just
we
little
love that.
Delulu.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
I
optimistic.
definitely brought finisher stuff on Black Friday sale. So
I didn't even think about that. So that'll be me on the New Balance website come Black Friday. Because exactly, like a $35 beanie, I was like, do I need this? No. 40% off? Yes. Like gloves, like that had like all 5 boroughs on the fingers. I was like, gosh, that's so cool. But like $40 gloves, I was like, eh. Like exactly. Like there's like a couple cold days. Like nothing crazy. Like one good snow a year. Like we don't really get too much. Sorry, Natalie. But
Natalie lives in the wild, wild west where the weather's
yeah.
insane.
I accept it.
But they did have a lot of sizes sold out at Expo. So like my finisher jacket is a large, which is like not a big deal. It is a little baggy on the arms. Like a medium probably would have fit better, but she was coming home with me, whether she was a large or I don't even know what. I probably would have bought like any size at that point because that was just the one thing I wanted.
Let's roll into your prep for the race.
Wait, what food did you get? Yeah, what
Yes.
food did you
Oh,
get after the expo?
yes. So we got a list. So funny enough, we went and got new phones like the Tuesday or Wednesday after wine and dine, and the lady who helped us was from New York. So this is like the fourth or fifth person that was like, you need Chinese and you need pizza. Doesn't matter what pizza, doesn't matter what Chinese. Like you just need to go to do that. So I did stop at Expo to watch one of the running labs about the course. They kind of like explained it a little bit more in depth. So I did stay to watch that. Immediately after that, we left and like DJ's over there Googling and he's like, okay, what's the best pizza like in this area? So we went to Vito's Pizza. And I will say every pizza spot in New York has a line. So I was like, this has to be a good sign then. So we just got a couple slices. Truly amazing. The sauce is just top tier. So it was fantastic. And then it's kind of what we did. And then we just did touristy stuff. So like we walked over to Times Square. We walked into like little stores. We walked into the Paramount building like we own the place, not realizing it was like a closed building. Like you can't just walk into, you know, buildings as you want to. The guy at the front was like, "Oh yeah, can we help you?" And we're like, "No, we're just browsing, we're looking around." And he was like, "You can't do that because this is a closed building." And I was like, "I'm so sorry." So like every building we're just kind of like going into and looking. But it had been since 2011 since I went to Times Square. DJ had never been, so we did all the touristy things. We got like all the little snacks. And then when it was time for us to check in, we did check in. I made sure I got my like outfit ready. I stuffed my vest. And then yeah, we went out again and we got Chinese food that night, which was 10 out of 10. Again, like the lines to these places are just so long. But it's so worth it. The food was incredible while we were there. And then the girl actually told us about this hotel, and that's what we bought for the weekend. And it was great. Like it's very like New York. It's not, there's no real bells and whistles in the room. Like the sink is outside of the bathroom. Like the bed is up against the wall. Like you have like a little tiny window. Nothing crazy, but it did its job, and it was prime location. That is like one of the bigger, I don't know if it's advice because I've only done this once, but staying in Midtown was perfect. It was walkable to everything. Well, at least for like the buses in the morning of the start. Prime location. There was a rooftop bar that had beautiful views of the Empire State Building. So that was super cool. But yeah, I was mad nervous. My anxiety was real bad after like getting that bib, and you're like, okay, girl, you're running 26 miles tomorrow. Like, I like internally, I'm like, I know I can do it. At least I hope I can do it. But it took a while for me to kind of like chill and not have anxiety. And then all my friends made me cry the night before, sob actually, but it was something that was just needed. Like I got a video from everyone. And like, it's one of those things where it's like, I didn't know I needed that until I got it. And I was like, okay, like, you have like everyone supporting you. Like no one's going to let you fail. Like obviously I have to do the work, but like there's just so many people that are like cheering for me and who want me to do this. So like it was amazing.
I'm just gonna say it again. We love you.
Thank you. Love you guys too.
I have a question. Did
Yes.
DJ record you reacting to our videos?
He did. It is a 9-minute video. Well,
Well, I
because
mean, to be
I'm
fair, our video to you is 9 minutes. So, like, what did we expect?
true. Well, because it was funny because I was like, oh, they want me in bed. Like that makes sense. Like I should be in bed. It's 8 o'clock. Like I have to be up at 3:40 in the morning. Like go to bed, girl. So I was like, okay. I just want one glass of wine just to kind of like drink on a rooftop bar in New York, and then yeah, and then like it was instantaneously. Like I like was in the middle of changing, and then Lindsay sent over. She was like, "Hold on, there's 3 of these," and I was like, oh, "Okay, what's this?" And DJ starts recording, and I was like, "Hold on a second, like let me sit down," because Jamie was first, so I was like, "Okay," like I just instantly started crying, and yeah, he recorded the whole thing, and then I was like, "You knew about this?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Dang you!" But it was nice. It definitely like helped me like calm down a little bit. So yeah, I will never be able to thank you guys enough.
So it's race morning now.
I set more alarms than I've ever set for a Run Disney race. I was worried about the time change, even though I know I was going after the 2 a.m. mark. I set it for like 3:40, 3:42, 3:45, 3:47. Like there was at least 7. And DJ's like, we don't have to start walking until 4:30. He was like, I'm just letting you know that. Like, you get dressed decently quick on race mornings. We don't have to start walking till 4:30. So, but I was like, just in my head, like I wanted to make sure I got everything. My one regret was I did not bring any food or drink with me because I knew I was going to get it there. Uh, Spoiler alert, it's a really long time from when you get on the bus to actually getting to Runner's Village. So that was my one. I wish I would have just grabbed something, had like a little finger food, like water or something. So where we stayed, it was about a mile away from the bus. DJ's like, do you want to walk? Do you want to lift? And I was like, it's just a mile. Like I can walk. It'll probably calm me down a lot. And all over Times Square, like you just see runners with the clear plastic bags walking everywhere. So it didn't feel like you were alone out there. When we got to the bus, now there's many transportation options. I can only speak of my experience, which was the easiest experience ever. With this VIP bib, there is one bus. It's from 5:15 in the morning to 5:45 a.m. and it goes directly from, it was at Fordham University Law School, directly to Runner's Village. So there was no hop off a bus to get on a subway, to get on the ferry, then to get on another bus to get to Runner's Village. It was extremely easy for me, but I did hear from a lot of others that New York is one of the like hardest in terms of logistics to get to the race, but it was really easy for me. The bus was equally excited and also nervous. I sat next to a charity runner. So if you run with, oh gosh, one of the big charities for New York, I'm blanking right now. It's like Team Kids
Yeah.
for
It's
that
the
one.
partnered one that's part of New
Yes.
York Roadrunners.
Yep. So that they have a VIP thing as well. So like if you raise up a certain amount of money, like you get a VIP bib and then you get like the extras in Runner's Village. So I sat next to him and it was kind of nice, like talking about like how we got to New York and everything. And then all of a sudden we're all realizing like we've made like 4 circles. Like we're going in circles. And then this guy at the front was like, can I help you like navigate out of this? So for like 30 minutes, we're just going around circles in Times
Oh my
Square.
gosh.
Um, never been lost on a Disney bus, but New York City, we did get lost. But we finally make it out. New York traffic, I will never get over. So much honking, so much cutting off, so much angry elves, if you will. But in like the police of people like pulling people over as we're getting close to the Verrazano Bridge. Crazy. They have Kias. They had undercover Kias. Never thought I would see that. So, but getting there, it felt surreal. Like we passed mile 2, we passed mile 1 on the bridge. We see the start line. It was like crazy. And I was trying to save my battery on my phone because I was in I was in the last wave. So I knew I had a long time to go. So we get off the bus, we go to security, and I make a grave error. Security for a world major. I don't know if Natalie, you dealt with this. It is so much longer than Disney. There was a million people in front. They do have a VIP charity runner like left side. Well, we waited there for a solid 5 minutes and it wasn't moving. So I was like, well, I'm just going to go through the general because that one seems to be moving. Error, grave error, because it is partitioned. Well, then the VIP lady that had the sign, she's just going by And meanwhile, I'm just here. And I was like, oh, I should have just stayed. I should have stayed over there. It took an hour and 25 minutes from the beginning to get just under the tent of security. Wild. And then I was like, well, I don't want to go under the partition because everyone's going to like be like, why is she doing that? Like, she doesn't deserve to be there. And I just want to be like, I promise I have a little sticker. Like, I can be over there, but I didn't want to start drama at 6:00 in the morning in New York. So, I waited, and it was crazy. The security situation, and granted, there's 50,000 runners. Like, I don't know what I expected, but like, patience, patience, patience. A lot of people around were like talking and like being like, oh, okay, like how many majors is this for you? There was a guy, it was his 7th, and he was trying to go for like a crazy like 2-hour something PR, because this was his last one. He was like, yeah, like I ran Boston and ran it in like a 2-hour and something. And I was like, oh man, like that's cool. Good for you. So that was cool. And like being able to like, you know, because you're cuddled up next to everyone, which was great because it was freezing. It was only 41 degrees that morning. I brought a like throwaway hoodie with me. But yeah, after we got through security, I kind of like looked around Runner's Village, just to kind of like see where everything was. The elites were about to start. So like I'm over here with like my zoom of my camera, like trying to like catch a glimpse of like a top of a head. The only thing I got was the car that has like the camera on it. Like as soon as the cannons went, like the car started going, and I tried following it, but you couldn't see ahead because we were underneath the bridge. But I did see the car leave, so that was kind of cool. I went into VIP tent, which was lovely because it was heated. They had bagels and water and Gatorade, charging stations, their own porta potties. Was amazing because I was starving at this point. I knew I needed water and Gatorade and something in my system. So I did hang out there for a while. The unfortunate part about this is my service went to SOS. So I had nothing. I didn't want to like waste my battery on certain things. So I just kind of sat there. I was trying to meet up with a couple people who also do Run Disney races, but because my phone wasn't working, I had no idea. And there's a million people out there, so trying to spot faces was hard. So I kind of sat there, which was equally calming, but also nerve-wracking, because I just wanted to talk and be like, okay, like this is how I'm feeling, like this is everything. And then as waves start, that's a cool thing that was like similar of a Run Disney race to New York, was the second that the cannons went off for another wave, like everyone just starts cheering, like in the tents, like around area, like you're like, oh man, like we're getting there, we're counting down. I walked out a little bit, but came back into the heat. Phones finally started working, but only for non-iMessage. So DJ has an Android. I got all these texts, and I'm like, hey, can you text the girls and let them know, like, I'm alive, I'm okay, but I cannot send a text. I can't get on social media. Like, I can't do anything. And he was like, yeah, I got you. And then I underestimated how far Blue Village was away from the VIP. So wave 4, they just called, and I was like, I'm going to just make my way over there, just to kind of get a vibe of everything, of the Blue area. It was such a long walk, and they are very much like Disney checking bibs. Like if you were in a later corral, they were like, nope, back. Like they had the NYPD handling everything as you enter the wave, and then the corrals, they have the volunteers at. And then all of a sudden my service is working. Like I walk up to the wave, and it was like ding, 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 ding. And I was like, oh, good. And then I get a text from Jess, and she takes a picture with DJ. And I was like, well, I can't say what I said, but I was like, are you here right now? And she was like, yeah. And I mean, I am just sobbing at this point. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, but like getting that text from Jess, like, it, like, just like having a friend that like drives like that long to like just be there for you was just, I'm sure you all knew everything. I was
We
in the
did.
dark, but
Yes. For everyone listening at home, Jess, it was like pretty last minute, but she drove all the way up there. It was a 6-hour drive. Then she took a train in. She was not so worried about like the driving part, but she's like, I have to get on a train and it's gonna be so early and I'm scared. She was brave for
she
you.
was. She was. And like that just like it started my morning even better. Like I can't even explain like the like girl power friendship that I have been shown like over this like from like Jamie sitting in my dining room table being like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, like this is the train you need to go on, like this is, we're gonna figure this out. Lindsay sent me her flight credit, so our flight was so much considerably cheaper. She's like, we're not gonna use it. So like it, like, and then the messages, like it was just like having your girl gang in your corner. Like walking up to that like corral was like, in that moment I was just like so happy and like everything, like it was indescribable.
Clarification purposes, just because I feel like I talked about the hydration vest thing for like ever. Does New York have the same
Yes.
rule?
The back bladder, and then I can't remember what the front was, because your girl left her bottles on her sink in North Carolina. So yeah.
I was
Tragic.
going to ask, like, did you have to fill them in the
I would
village?
have, if I had them. We were, so my mom lives about an hour away. And after trick or treating, like we went to her house and we're like about to go to sleep because we have to be up early to get to the airport. And I just look over and I was like, I left my bottles at home. And he was like, or DJ was like, you're what? I was like, my hydration bottles. I was like, I vividly remember cleaning them out and then setting them there to dry. And then we made this decision just to leave so we could save about an hour drive to the airport. And then DJ looks in our living room camera and he was like, oh yeah, they're sitting right there. I was like, yay. But yes, going through security, there were people that had to dump their bladders on the side. And then they did have a couple that like they were taking them. I don't know if it's confiscation or what, but like the police just had them. So yes, no back bladders, none whatsoever.
Pray for me in Tokyo.
So how is stuff as like, because the race itself, I think, did it start at 9:30? I'm just saying like for the
I
front
don't
of the pack.
remember. I know the cannons went off for the first time. I was through security, and I think I was through security at like close to 8. Um, but I also know they sent influencers like an hour before, so I don't know if it was like that one or the next wave through there.
The Google, aka the New York Road Runners website, like wheels started at 8 a.m. and then wheels, men, women, and then hand cycle, and like but like professional women started at 8:30. So
I was wave 5.
okay,
Yes.
so that was 11:30 start. So how did it feel to, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, like it's probably not too different from I was like, wow, it's so long to wait, but like
It is so long to wait. What are you talking about?
it is, but also like if you kind of count like being in the runners like kind of village, but then like also it's kind of like how we have like the stage area, and like yeah, like if you get there at 2:30 or 2:45 in the morning, you are waiting a while, but you have stuff to
Mm-hmm.
do, like you're not like hunched in your corral all that long, but you might be for some people, like for Run Disney, if you want to be at the very, very front of
Mhm.
your corral, if it opens at 3:15 and you want to be in there, you might be waiting for a
True.
couple hours. So I was curious kind of the differences for, elbow room, kind of like getting your little hype
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. A lot of people just sit around. Like people had blow up couches and like I was like, oh, that's so smart. Because the VIP area, because it was open to like charity runners, it was very, very packed. So like I just sat on the floor, like in a little corner, like just chilling. But there was so many people around. Now in the Blue Start Village, I didn't go over there till about 30 minutes before the wave opened. Um, they are very strict about like pushing waves like as they go. So like you can't even enter where the corrals are until your wave is called, or if you're like falling back, then obviously you can walk through whatever wave if it's behind you. But going forwards, like it's just this open area. I mean, there was a million porta potties though. Like I will say, I was very scared of that situation because like, Disney has a decent amount, but I'm like, this is like on the scale times like 100. But they had so many, like they had waters throughout the runners village, they had like a zen area, they had therapy dogs, like there was just so much around that was like really, really cool. But I waited right in front of the wave 5 blue area. I just waited like right outside, and then waited in front of Corral E. I will say, like, they were on point as far as timing goes. Like, there was no, like, oh, like early or later. Like, everything was so precise to get there. So it was probably about 10 till 11. They finally opened wave 5 up. Walked to E, didn't even try, but I did make it to the front of E where the little partition is. We waited there for a few minutes. Now they came over the intercom and they were like, hey, like there are no bathrooms on the Verrazano Bridge. Absolutely none. If you were caught going to the bathroom, like you will be disqualified. Like, and we're talking like it took about, so the first mile is over, second mile is down. So it took about 2.5 to get into Brooklyn area. So they were like, hey, like we have porta potties in the corrals for a reason. Like, please use them. So they were everywhere, which was awesome. I wish Disney would take that and just put like 1 or 2 in the corral so you didn't have to like walk all the way out and then like come all the way back in.
Mhm.
But
Chicago could never. I love like a kind of strict enforcement of like, don't, because like the bridge is kind of
mhm.
layered too. So if like you pee and you're on the top,
Yes, it is going to drain down.
yeah, that's
Yes.
nasty.
Well,
So
and
good.
in New
I'm glad.
York, um, some people start at the bottom of the bridge and some people start on
Yeah.
top.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Gravity.
like that would be
Ugh.
terrible.
God, they probably had to figure that out the hard way though, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Absolutely. Someone somewhere did something.
Everything gets figured out the
Someone
hard
got
way.
peed on.
Mhm.
Listen, marathons can be kind of like a weird, like kind of like thick preference, kink, fetish here. And are getting peed on before a
No, thank
marathon?
you.
That sounds like, yeah,
Yeah, no.
no.
No, and like then to run 26 miles with someone else's pee on you, could never. I would be like, I'm done. Goodbye. Take
Oh
me
my
off.
gosh.
I thought spooky season was over.
Halloween had to have its last laugh.
But yeah, we started like the one thing I was not prepared for, and I don't know if Natalie, you had the same experience, but we have this little rope that's in corral E and then D is in front of us. When they start letting you walk, you just go underneath of it. Like you just lift it up and you start walking. Well, the amount of people that just darted, like I'm talking like quickly running, quickly walking, like to get as far up as they could, I was like flabbergasted. Because there's just so many people. Like, you can't really move up like that well anyway. Um, but then you start your venture to walk up. I will say starting on top of the bridge was so cool because you turn the corner, you see the bridge in the distance, and then everyone just kind of like pile in. They started almost exactly at 11:30. Like, those cannons went off, and then just everyone started going. It was so surreal and crazy, like being in that moment of like seeing the bridge and being like, you're about to start this, like you're about to run the New York City Marathon, was crazy. We started walking and then get to the start running. Now that's the hardest part for me, is like starting your intervals, because it's so packed right in the beginning. So I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna run up as much as I could. And then I pulled over, I took a couple pictures. The coolest part about this was the NYPD helicopters just started going so slow by the bridge, like just like at eye level.
Like
Yeah, just
hovering?
hovering. And like everyone's like
Ah!
waving. And then on our side, they just kind of like came up and was like super quick. Like, that was super, super cool. Now, I live in North Carolina, so I have a bunch of hills everywhere. I didn't think the bridge was that bad. Like, I was like, okay, this is a little hard. But it definitely wasn't as bad as I thought. Everyone, even in the runner's lab, they're like, hey, like, this is the most elevation, like, take your time. But running on the bridge wasn't bad either. I'm not good with bridges. At the Disney races, when it starts like moving, I'm like, goodbye, I have to get off this. It didn't move as much as I thought I would feel from however many people are running alongside of me. It wasn't
Mhm.
that bad. And then mile 2 is all downhill. So like I look at my pace and I was like, oh girl, like thank gosh that was downhill, because that was quick. And then you just start hearing the roar of people. And that was just the wildest experience. People are screaming at you like, welcome to Brooklyn, like just crazy amount of people. And then having your name, I will back Natalie on this till I'm blue in the face, but having your name on you is just crazy. Like having people scream your name, being like, you go, like, that's awesome. And then when you look not so great, people are like, you got this, like you're close, like one foot in front of another. Um, Wild. The crowds of New York City, I will never get over. I never want to get over this race. And that's one of the biggest differences is like during Dopey, like I was ready. Like I was so ready to be done, to have those medals, to get over. Like as I'm going through New York, I was like, "Ugh, I don't want this to end. Like this is just like amazing." And all the people that are there, there's so many people giving out fuel and like drinks and everything. It was just, it was crazy. It's crazy in the best way.
It's kind of interesting, yeah, because I feel like the bridge commentary, like people always say that, and it's like tough, like
It
right,
is.
like I have only run flat courses,
It's very flattering.
so
Mhm.
despite running somewhere quite hilly, because I was kind of curious. So you go through each of the 5 boroughs
Mm-hmm.
of New York City. Did you have like kind of a favorite, or like kind of take us along your borough journey?
Yeah. I feel like it's so hard to pick one. Also, starting more back of the pack, you could see some of the boroughs were like a little bit more packed in the beginning. And then like as you made it, like you could see like the like partitions everywhere, but then it was kind of like more movable. But Brooklyn, you're in the longest. Now I think it's the pink wave starts underneath the bridge. And then you have another wave, I think is orange, and you are separate of each wave until about mile 4. So the orange wave is running on the left side of the road, blue's on the right side, pink's somewhere else in Brooklyn. And then mile 4, everyone just kind of funnels together, which a little bottlenecking, but it definitely wasn't terrible in the sense of like I could still a little bit do my intervals. I had to kind of weave a little bit. But yeah, like every borough, like you had so many different people, like the most eclectic bunch of everything you could think of. The signs were 10 out of 10. People, the best ones were like, oh, like the date me signs, or like people just like actually put their phone number, or like, I'm looking for a decent tenant. Give me a call if you're looking to buy in New York City. Like just crazy. And then you have like the uplifting ones. And but yeah, like the amount of candy people gave out was unreal. I've given so many children high fives. And I love that about kids. Like they're just standing there like with their arm out and you're like, yay. Like that was super sweet and super fun. But towards the end, like getting into the Bronx, you are there the like least amount of time, but the music, like it was deafening. Like they had so many different like bands and loud music. I couldn't hear like anything going on. Like my Garmin, like I could feel the vibration, but normally I could hear the sound, couldn't. But yeah, the each borough was just crazy. And then you go through, they say, I think it's 3 bridges that they post, but it's like really 4. They had like a group of people at the last bridge, and then it said the last blank bridge. And they had everything. They had pickle shooters, they had nerds, they had goos, they had snacks, everything. And they're like with their megaphones and they're like, you did it, like last one, like keep going. Because every bridge there's no one on it, so there's no spectators, which for me, I know a lot of people say they get in their heads and that because it's so quiet you're just hearing like footsteps and breathing. But for me that helped me so much because it is like a lot with how many spectators there are, how many people are around you. Like it kind of felt like you could like take that deep breath and be like, okay, now I'm about to go into like the next part to like kind of break it up into little sections. Going over the bridge with where's halfway, I felt great. I really did. Like the whole race I was feeling good. And then my voice of reason text from Natalie came in being like, hey girl, remember it's 26 miles that you're doing. And I was like, dang, like 'cause I didn't realize like just everything, the crowd, like how awesome it felt to be running the New York City Marathon. Like I was just like, woohoo, like I'm gonna one foot in front of another decently quickly. And then I was like, no, like I couldn't see my splits because sometimes my watch, I couldn't hear it. So I would look and I'd be like, oh, I feel like I'm doing okay. And then the next split, it would be like 12 minutes. And I was like, oh, maybe we should just a little slow down.
Yeah. No, I feel like sometimes I'm the voice of reason of like, okay, great, love that for you. Just remember,
26.
we do have to, you don't want to feel like absolute like poop
Right.
at mile 15. Not like I know what that feels like. And not that it was for the same reason, but it's so hard to not go out that fast. Am I Delulu in saying that it almost feels like New York is almost a lot like Disney in a way? Like, because part of my favorite part of the highway sections, and like, yes, there's entertainment there, is sometimes it's just quiet and you just hear like the mumble, you hear
Mm-hmm.
people, but you hear like just kind of like footsteps, and it is just kind of quiet so that you have the time to kind of build up to like, I'm going into Animal Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going into like, yes, like I'm going into this area. And like, yes, there's entertainment, but I did see the Instagram account for the last damn bridge. Because I guess that started over a decade ago where somebody just happened to be there. And now it's just grown into this huge, like, we have everything you could need.
Yes.
And this is the last damn one of these that you have to
Oh
do.
my
It's
gosh. It
awesome.
was so great. Like I will say, like I love to film because I'm like, oh man, like I love reliving memories. But for New York, I went back through my stuff and I don't really have that much because I was so living in the moment going through this
We love that.
because I was like, I don't know if I will ever do this again. Like, and I didn't want to see it from behind my phone lens. Like, I wanted to just take it in and just be able to talk about it later. Like, I do have a couple pictures and different things, and part of me wishes I would have taken like a little bit more like in each borough just to kind of like remember, like, oh, I remember like this specific borough was famous to me because of X. But yeah, like just going through the silence parts, I didn't mind. I really didn't. And I, but also it was great for me too, though, because all my rallies that were coming in were so hard to hear. Also, I need New York to have the green tents for photographers, all majors actually, because I tell you what, I have 130 plus pictures. I would say 80% of them, they got me right as I was looking at my phone. Didn't look at my phone the whole time, but the second I would text updates, or like the second I would like turn the camera around to like record something, like my recording to you guys saying I'm never running a marathon again. You just see me talking to my phone on this. I'm walking through the picture. There's like 6 of them, and I'm like, dang it. I was not ready for that.
If it makes you feel better, all of my Chicago photos were absolutely terrible. There's not a good one in all 100 or whatever that I got. Natalie got much better photos than I did. Mine are so
Yes.
bad.
Because they look like normal people just standing on the sidelines with a camera. And then, like, there's sometimes I'd like half smile because I'm like, are you like just taking pictures because you want to? Like, are you going to post these on the website for me to see? And then, yeah, it was crazy.
The only photographers I remember recognizing as, like, official photographers from Chicago were they had some at the half mark that were wearing their, like,
Oh,
vests so you could see they were identifiable, and then I remember the ones in the straight like, when you go up the little, quote, unquote, "hill" before you go into the finish line chute, there are
yes.
photographers standing there because there's no spectators because they
Hmm.
closed off the park, and so it's very obvious that that is what they are doing, and they have their vests on, but every other photo from on the course that's not at one of those, like, identifiable spots, I had no idea they were taking my picture. I look terrible, I'm in pain, it's just bad.
So I was thinking kind of like, oh, it'd be nice if they kind of had like photo up ahead, but I also feel like that would be almost worse
Yes.
in the terms of like, like
It'll be so much worse than
Oh
Disney
my
slowdown.
gosh.
yes.
Yes.
Because I was hanging right for the most part anyway, so I
Mhm.
could continue my normal
Same.
intervals. So unfortunately for me, where when things started to thin out is when I wasn't feeling so hot. So I have a lot of funny pictures where um yeah, you can see the look on my face, you can see like the, like the like just like I do have a lot of great ones, but it's kind of funny because, and this is true with most races, like as the crowd thins out a little bit and spreads out a little bit, you are more visible, which is great for some things, but not others. But I actually didn't get a finish line photo.
No.
Really?
I was like, I don't know what happened, but well, maybe I have to go back and look and just make sure. I think all my pictures are uploaded though, but like I have one like kind of after I crossed the finish line, I was kind of like walking toward, but um, I think what happened because then in the live feed finish, um, there was like somebody like one of the camera guys who kind of blocked when I was coming in. So you can see me
No.
after I finished off.
Oh,
And then but I have a really cool picture leading up to the finish. It's like from the ground, like looking up at me. You could see some of the sky. So that's cool. That's
We
good
love
enough.
that.
And they have their like at like the 30K mark, they have this like kind of like I don't want to say like faux finish line because I don't mean to say call it that way, but it kind of looks like a finish line photo where they have people up like in the air, like and it kind of like you could probably pass that off as your finish
Hmm.
line, but like it's not.
Right.
Um,
they're in, like, little turrets.
kind of like Disney style.
Yeah.
But it's kind of it is kind of funny when you think about the photographer thing because like I feel like we'd have Because yeah, it's like, are you just a fan or
Right. Because there were so many people with just cameras that were like taking pictures. And then you look on Instagram and they have like the New York City Marathon through my eyes, and they have like great pictures of people. So like you couldn't tell.
oh yeah, you definitely can't tell. It seems like we were all saved from Matt Choi and his camera crew because he's banned from New York
Yeah.
Marathon. So, but if you want to have people record, just have them post up and don't have them on bikes as you are going on the course. Um, just girly
Yeah.
things.
I will say I didn't see any of that. Like it was normal people with their arm out, like recording. Like there was nothing too bad. And people were really aware of their surroundings. I will say for the most part, there were like a couple people who did dead stop on the like bridge. And like I saw this photographer coming up. So like I'm doing the like trotting, and then they dead stopped, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna like trot a little slower. And then like everyone was just
Mhm.
stopping right in front. And I was like, I finally know of one. Like, just let me have one good picture.
Yeah, that's definitely it's definitely tough. Um, yeah, because it
Yeah.
happens. It does happen, but it's like, dang it. It's like, because you can kind of like keep a mental tally of like, yeah, no, they definitely missed me, and like maybe they did get like a smidge of me,
Yes.
but like,
Yeah,
nah.
I got Wazowski'd on the Verrazano Bridge because there's so many photographers on there. But I also hung to the right because I knew that was just going to be the easiest for me to stop with how busy it was. And then we all noticed this photographer at the same time. So like everyone threw their hands up, and I thought I got out of this girl who like had like the football pose, like where her arms were out. But no, like it's like
Mm.
right
Mhm.
in my face like the whole time. So you get like half of it. But I was like, you know what? Like it's kind of funny. Like it's nice to be Rosowski.
You can just pretend it's Megan doing
Exactly.
it on purpose. We can Photoshop
Right.
Megan's head on
Yeah,
for
she has a
sure.
great picture. The lady in front of me, beautiful picture.
So if you had to pick a favorite borough, which was it?
I would, for me, towards the end, because I'm a middle back of the packer. I feel like the last few boroughs, so like the Bronx going into Central Park, were really there to make sure like the last people were like motivated. Like there was craziness like at mile 22. Thank gosh someone stopped, and I look over because she's like recording, and it was Coach Bennett. So I immediately was like, okay, I'm gonna stop because I need to meet this guy in person. And he I mean, he makes everyone cry, right? But like I walked over and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I was like, thank you so much for everything. Like I was like, your words truly make a difference in the running community. Truly, truly, truly. And took a picture with him, and he was like, hey, what happens in 4.2 miles? And I was like, the finish line. And he was like, yep. He was like, 4.2 miles, you are going to finish the New York City Marathon. And I was like, like, just like sobbing. So it's like the people at the end were just there, like, because at this point, like, a lot of people around me are walking. Um, at mile 18, I hit the like, girl, how long do you have left? Like looking at my watch, like, oof, like we're going to make it, but we got to keep one foot in front of the other. And just having the people there to be like, nope, you got this, keep going. You are so close. Cause then you're like, okay, I kind of, a little bit, we're getting there. Like, don't tell me at mile 8 I'm close, but like mile 22 on, like, I like hearing that. Um, so yeah, towards the end, Central Park, people like they were screaming, like, you're so close, like the finish line is right there. That was crazy to like hear. And then people had signs like mile 25, like finish lines right there. The like countdown of the meters, like the 800, 400, 200. You see the flags. Like that was crazy. And then seeing DJ and Jess on course twice. Like, they were rock stars. Like, rock stars. Because I told them, I was like, look, I was like, if you can't, like, well, I told DJ, because obviously I only thought he was coming. So when we were talking about, like, where he should be, I was like, look, I was like, I know I can get to 13 miles. Like, I know it. I will feel good till 13. I was like, I need you 15 and on. Like, if you can 15 and on it, where, like, I can get that, like, you know, boost, pep it back in my step. So they met me at 16. That was obviously the first time I saw Jess, because I did not know she was coming till that morning. And, like, just giving them a hug, like, I cried the whole race. Like, I'm not really, like, a big emotional person, but I feel like I cried this whole race, but, like, in the best way. Like, not because I was hurting, but just because I was just so happy to be there.
Love that.
And moved on. But, like, it was exactly what I needed at mile 16. And then, like, mile 16 to 18, I was great. And then they texted me, they were like, hey, we're between mile 24 and 25. So, like, mentally, I was like, okay, just get there. Like, if you just get there, you'll see them. It was hard because of the time change. It did get dark. So I'm, like, looking for them, but everyone looks the same, like, on the spectator, like, they're all just cheering. And I was like, I can't even remember what they're wearing.
Mile 24 of a marathon, dude. Like, say less. You don't have to explain it to us.
But it was great seeing them. Ryan gave DJ his grandstand ticket. He was like, no, he was like, go watch MB finish. Unfortunately, there was just not enough time, and they had closed off a lot of the roads for them to get over there. And DJ was like, I didn't want to text you and be like, hey, can you, like, stop so, like, I can get over there in time? He was like, he didn't feel like that was the right thing to do. So, but seeing them right before was great. The finish was awesome. Because they kind of have, like, the faux finish too. Like, they have all the lights, and then the New Balance lights, like, blasted, like, right as I was going through, and I was like, that was so bright. But yeah, like, I will say, like, I was undertrained, but I had a 45-minute PR from Dopey.
Yeah, you did.
So I was like,
if you weren't going to bring it up, I was.
Snaps.
So I was like, okay, like, that was great. But I also fell at mile 13 during Dopey. So I was like, maybe that's what happens if you stay on your feet the whole race.
Just you wait, because you said you're done with marathons, but I don't believe you. And when you run one fully trained, and it's gonna be magical.
And just one race. Like, I will say, like, waking up and only running just the marathon. That was nice.
This is the only time we're allowed to say just the marathon.
Now, I will say the end of the New York City Marathon is a trek. It is a very long walk. You get your medal, you get your little baggie, you walk up a little bit, you get the poncho, which that poncho was coming home with me. Like, I told DJ, I was like, we have to make this fit, because I forgot about it. But it was so warm. Like, it was fleece lined, like, wonderful to be wrapped around you. But you walk about a mile after the finish, you make a big loop. And we made a point, as we were talking, like, we were going to meet in the family reunion, if nothing else, because of service and everything, which was the very last way you could get out for runners. And Jess is on Find My Friends, and she was like, okay, like, yep, there she is. Like, I'll put directions. We'll try to meet. Well, then Jess's phone died, and DJ has an Android, so we don't have the cool Find My Phone feature. So he's like, okay, I'm going to send you a Google directions. Just meet us, like, right here. So I did take a couple pictures towards the end, because there was a bunch of photographers there. And then I went, and I was like, I have no idea where you are. I was like, I'm standing in front of Starbucks right now. I was like, I'm just going to wait right here, because I can't walk anymore. Like, if I tried. Jess saw me, and then we met up, and then he's like, DJ was like, do you want to lift back? And I was like, well, how much is a lift? And he was like, it's $175. And I was like, we're walking. We're walking. I'm not doing that. It's a mile and a half. Like, we're gonna walk, which was great until it wasn't. Saw a McDonald's and I was like, I need a crispy Coke to revive me. Uh, so we walk in there. DJ buys us all Cokes, and it was great. Like, I was like, this is exactly what I needed. We walk through Times Square, and there is a band that people are really happier in Times Square. So I got my full experience to walk through crowds, shoulder to shoulder, shuffling, right after running the New York City Marathon, which Jess, we love Jess. Jess is a very fast walker. So homegirl is gone. DJ is like, I can't leave her, but I can't leave you. So he's like in the middle and I'm like, just let me be. Like, I will make it. I will make it eventually. So we get through that and yeah, like it was crazy. Like I still keep feeling like I don't want to ever get over this race, which is completely different of how I felt after Dopey. And I don't know, like, if it was just because I ran a single race or like Dopey was like this huge lead up. And it was like, that's, the biggest thing that you could do it for a Disney race. And then being like, okay, well now what? I don't know.
I think because we talk sometimes about like, do we kind of consider it the full Dopey experience? Do you consider it the marathon? Like, obviously, when we talked about doing your first marathon during Dopey. So I think that maybe this was almost like your not reset of sorts, but because sometimes it feels like you kind of always have to go back, like, you do this and then you do a little more, then you do a little more, and then you do a little more, and then like it's like, how do we scale back? Like, it's always the question of,
Unless you're interested in ultras.
that's a whole other conversation. I was even just thinking on the Run Disney terms, but it's kind of like the quote unquote only Goofy, which is also terrible to say. Goofy is awesome, first of all. We
Yeah.
love Goofy in this house. Of like, it's still also most of the good fun miles. But anyway, I think that like kind of sometimes having that reset of like, I'm just kind of happy to be here of sorts, like kind of not taking it for granted. And this is obviously outside the Run Disney bubble, but it's like, I feel like it's just that like, oh no, like we can enjoy our experiences for our experiences, and it doesn't make things different to just, I feel like sometimes we have the more culture, especially with running. And like, like it seems like it's not enough to do like one major in a like season. It's like, all right, we got to do like several and like back to back it, which like sometimes that's just a function of how the lottery works out.
Fair.
I don't know. It's kind of interesting because I think it's kind of almost like that like reset of like, oh, well, like not this is fun too, but like, of course this is fun. And I think kind of having a separated experience too from that, like, yes, this is different and this might not be exactly what I expected because it's a completely different state. It's a completely different series of races. But I think that there's like also joy in kind of like not even rediscovery, but like kind of getting outside the bubble in a way.
That's so true. And like, I just kept reminding myself the whole weekend, like, there are only 7 of these races in the entire world. Like, just 7. And how big, like, of a population do we have in the world? Like, it's just crazy. So I think, like, having that mindset now, I mean, obviously, Run Disney races are extremely hard to get into, and people do charity and everything for those too. But, like, it felt different, but not in a bad way, but like in such a good way of like doing something that there's not a lot of, that I get an opportunity to. And it just, yeah, it felt really good and different.
That's good. And different is okay. Also,
Yeah.
just as a reminder to everybody, we are really supportive if the marathon is not for you.
Yes.
Yes, we are supportive of everybody's journey from the first place, but also we do a lot of jokes where, like, we peer pressure our friends into marathons, but, like, like, honestly, like, if a marathon's not for you, it's not for you, and that's totally cool and totally fine, or if, like, you are truly a one and done. I don't believe you when you say that, but that's because I know you.
I know. I just like, I mean, I think I texted our group chat too. I was like, why are marathons so long? Like, that's the worst part. Like, I wish they were like 18 miles. Or, I mean, or,
20.
why world majors can't be 10Ks. Like,
Can you imagine, though?
right.
Or, like, the world major halves. Like, say oh, okay, wait. Let's, like I don't wanna call them the world minors because 'cause I'm not minimizing the half marathon. I love the half marathon, but, like yeah, but that's what I'm thinking, right? Like, it's still professional baseball, but it's, like, AAA versus, the Major League Baseball. Let's see, would we do, like, the same cities? Or we would do, like, kind of like, what's our, like, tier of our 7? Let's just say 7
Ooh.
because of, or because now I'm thinking, like, how you would route stuff in different ways. I mean, I guess, okay, most of these cities do have a half marathon. Like, there's, like,
Fair.
the Chicago Distance Series has a half in June, I think. Uh, and then there like, New York Roadrunners.
And there's usually a 5K the day before the marathon
Yeah.
at a
True.
lot of the majors.
I kinda like the idea of almost making if we're gonna go minor league, like, we gotta like, we have an affiliate to the major city, but what's our, like, minor leagues? It has to be
It has
somewhere
to be
else.
somewhere else. Uh, okay, well, we've got the Midwest/Northeast
Mhm.
covered. So I feel like we need to go, like, San
Ooh.
Francisco
Ooh.
and maybe Seattle. We need to cover the other side of the
Be a good
country
one.
Or
for the
Denver.
US, and then
Ooh.
yeah, but the
Ooh.
elevation, I don't know
See,
if I
the
want that.
elevation and hills and stuff like that, because people say San Francisco's crazy hilly, even though I think that that's worth doing. Uh, but or we can dip into Canada.
Ooh.
Well, we have
Oh,
to pick
yeah.
some international
Oh, yeah, yeah,
countries
yeah.
too, it
But,
can't
like,
all
what
be
are
in
our
the
like,
US.
we have 3 that are in the US right now, so I don't think we have to have 3 in North America, but, um, yeah, Toronto, I
Toronto.
think, would be a good one because then you can kinda have the minors, like, over like, if it's somewhere cooler, like, some of those, you have a little bit more space over the summer. I mean, it does get warm places and
Mhm.
stuff, but
For Europe, I'm voting for Barcelona.
ooh, love that.
Ooh.
For Asia, I'm voting for Thailand, somewhere in Thailand,
That would be fun.
because I want an excuse to go to Thailand.
Absolutely, I want an excuse to go there. I guess you gotta put New Zealand. Oh my god, what if they made it like a Hobbit run?
Oh,
Yes!
that'd be so cool.
The Kiwis need to run too.
Exactly, exactly.
Then you could do like the Dopey to Hobbit challenge.
That's awesome. I love a
That
DIY
would be fun.
challenge. I'd say
Also, I feel like we need to pick something in Africa because I feel like they're
yeah.
left out.
Oh, I mean, Morocco could be
Ooh.
then you can really do like a Disney Morocco to Morocco challenge.
So, I haven't posted it yet, probably will before this comes out, so we will find out. But I took a photo when we went to the after party from Wine and Dine in the Japan pavilion in front of, the Archie thing that, you can see the spaceship Earth through.
Oh,
I know that's terrible, I'm so sorry, I don't know what to call it though. Um, and I was gonna use it as my, like, obviously all of our friends know and the podcast knows, but as, like, my official, like, Tokyo announcement of, like, "Tokyo to Tokyo, woo!"
I love that.
What other pavilions do we have? Well, I mean, Paris has a marathon, but just Berlin. We already picked Toronto for Canada. We could go all the way to Chile.
Ooh.
Yeah, gotta get it one on every continent now, because as much as like I want to be
Mhm.
like, yeah, like obviously like as somebody who lives in America, like Boston's not super accessible to me. Let's just be real. But in theoretically, like I'm like I like the idea of one on each continent.
That would be
I
so
think so.
much fun.
I do think you can run in Antarctica. I do think there is a
There
race in
is,
Antarctica.
Eliud Kipchoge is doing like over the next 2 years. It seems like kind of his swan song to professional running is like a marathon on each continent. But there's also like that World Marathons Challenge where you do 7 marathons in 7 days on each continent. Um,
Oh my gosh. How do you
oh my god, have you not heard of this? It is.
No, but, like, I'm just imagining the, like, travel logistics, and
Yeah,
I
they
don't like
basically they
it.
like charter a plane. Like you basically get off the plane, you run, you tidy up as much as you can, and you sleep to get to the next destination. I believe,
And
yeah,
then do it all over again?
the next day. And
Ew.
also like if there's weather stuff, like that's like it kind of because it seems like I wouldn't say somewhat often, but like obviously like when you're circumnavigating the globe in a week, there could be some weather delays. So there's sometimes you don't
Mhm.
actually fit into the 7 days, which like I don't know, sounds close enough to me. If you start, but like if you start the seventh marathon, even if you don't start it, like what are you gonna do if there's like a ground stop or a thunderstorm? Like you cannot get into this place. Like it sounds good enough to me.
Right.
Sounds close enough.
Do we know how many people have successfully done this?
There is somebody in the Run Disney community who has. They were on Rise and Run. I think it was like 24
Oh, wow.
to talk about it. But yeah, there it's like kind of. I think that there was a professional marathoner who did it last year, or perhaps a retired professional because she won most of the marathons. I would hope, but yeah, it's like it's bananas. Did you just look at the price tag?
No, I did not look up the price tag. I looked up the complete like, how many people have completed it, and it says as of late 2025, this is also AI, so it could be wrong, around 104 people have completed the World Marathon Challenge.
It's actually more than I thought it would be.
It is more than I thought it would be, and also I'm just that's bonkers. The 7 Marathons Club has 543 members, that's the 7 continents, but then, like which is actually lower than I would have thought. I would have thought more than 550-ish people would have run on all 7 continents.
It's true.
But I guess it is really hard to get to Antarctica, so
Well, and that price tag, whew,
what is it? Should I Google it?
I want to say it's like over 100 grand
Oh my gosh.
because they pay for like the flights
Chartering
and
it.
everything. Yeah, like you just show up. Well, after you've paid, you show up.
So remember that whole like Adventures by Disney thing? That like remember there was like the
You say that
circumnavigating.
as if that's like it's like a full business. Like
No,
it
no, no.
is
But like there was the one specific trip that when it came out, people were like, "What the hell?" Like basically, they were chartering a plane. You would go to every single Disney in the world, plus a couple additional things, and I think it was like $100,000. That was at least over 3 weeks. That's all I'm saying.
What's included? We have a round trip flights by private chartered jet from Cape Town to Antarctica, business charter flights from Cape Town to Perth to Abu Dhabi to Portugal to
Cartagena.
yeah, that one, to Miami to complete the remaining 6 marathons, meals, drinks, Antarctica emergency evacuation coverage, all logistical costs, overnight accommodations, entry into the 7 marathons, professional photos, medals for completing each of the marathons, as well as an additional medal for the Great World Race Medal, a digital completion certificate, branded merchandise, whatever that means, and inclusion in the Global Marathon Club.
Ooh, fancy.
I better get my pictures for free for that.
The cost to visit Antarctica alone can cost up to 20,000 euros.
Oof.
So wait, where's the pricing? I know I clicked on the come on. Don't do this to me. Entry fee per person is 49,500 euros, which can be paid in 3 installments of 16,500 euros. Ooh, how generous.
They have afterpay. We love
What is that in American dollars? What's the exchange rate right now for a euro?
The euro is stronger than the dollar, I believe, right now.
Okay, we've got, what did I say? I said 49.50. 49,500 euros is $57,269.02.
So it's less than I thought. No, I was wrong.
But we could buy a car.
True.
You buy fat DBC contract for that.
Everyone has their own priorities.
True.
That is wild. All right. Well, I mean, back to New York. We've done our world tour. Now we're back to New York.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to share? Anything special? Anything else you did in New York, even if it's not related to the marathon?
Man, I don't know. I know one of the big things that I've got and I've been asked is like a lot of like Disney runners are nervous to do anything outside because of like the support and like the timing and everything, but like I will talk this till I'm blue in the face. Like the amount of like support that you get, at least in New York, because obviously I've not done any of the others. Like they have their own like after party for the last finishers. And I think the last finisher for New York this year ended at like it was like 11:30 or midnight. So even starting in the last wave, like you have so much time to like finish these races, at least for New York, because it is the most generous as far as time wise. But I would almost say the support is was better in New York than it is on a Disney course. Just because through Disney, like we were talking about, like it's most of it is quiet. Like you have your entertainment, you have your characters to kind of break through things, but like it's so much different when like there's just a constant sea of people like cheering for you and everyone else running. So I think like if anyone wanted to like jump into a world major, I think like New York would be like probably one of the like better ones to do. Your time limit is so long and the experience is super cool. So I know I've gotten asked that a lot. So that's my 2 cents.
From what I've heard, I would concur. I haven't run it personally, obviously, but based on my Chicago experience, New York is the most supportive of the world majors to people in the back of the pack because they still from what I've seen still have support stations with water and
Mhm.
all that available, and they wait and they cheer the last person on, and that's all very similar to, I feel like, the Disney vibe from like a I've never I've gotten close in a Disney race to them running out of water when I've been on course for a really, really long time, but I've never actually seen them run out. Whereas when I ran Chicago, I was ahead of the pace car. So I was inside of what should be the support window, and I ran past aid stations without water and
Mhm.
aid stations without fuel. So granted, I was not relying on their fuel, but
Right.
it is of my opinion that if the race decides what the support window is for their cutoff, they should have enough supplies to supply for that entire duration.
100%.
So,
And I will say New York did not have a lot of aid issues. The first aid like water station, like there were just so many people to like they just couldn't keep up. So
mhm,
they were just pouring water into cups. Like they had all the cups lined up and they were just like going down the line and people were just taking them. So
mhm,
it did take like a second. Like they didn't have the people like standing there holding it out.
mhm,
That was the only station that there was like a little bit of a backup to. Everything
mhm,
else, like it was like a well-oiled machine. Like they had people out there, like they had the backups on the table. um they gave out the
Morton.
Morton gels. First time they did have caffeine. The second time they were completely out of caffeine. They only had the non-caffeinated ones. So that was the only thing. But I mean, they still had stuff, just no caffeine. But other than that, like there was no aid issues. And all medical was fantastic. There was at least 20 medical at every single tent, and every single water stop there was medical, giving out like Vaseline and biofreeze and handing out Tylenol. Um, so they were stocked. They were good the whole time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think the crowd support of the majors is really like uncomparable to a Disney race. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, I think during marathon weekend in the parks, you can get some of that when you don't get a grumpy goose who's upset that you're blocking their path to Everest or whatever.
True.
But yeah, I think New York is unique from the like actual like support like aid and such for back of the Packers because I think the other marathons are a little less so. Other marathons let you keep running. Like Chicago leaves the finish line open, so
Hmm.
you can keep going even if you get passed by the pace car, you're just on your own. There's
Right.
no support. Um, but that's kind of like what a doesn't that sound like it kinda sucks though? I mean, good on those people who keep going anyways and finish. I'm so
Yes.
proud of those people, but that I feel like that would be such a sucker punch. You've trained so long, you're doing it,
Mhm.
and then you're, like, on your own because the race is like, "Eh, whatever."
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was most nervous about. Like, I don't know why. Like, because they do say like, hey, like 16-minute pace, like from the last for most races. So like, I kept turning around, like
Mhm,
just to see if I would see anything, and I never did. Because there is no pace car in New York, but like I saw the Chicago one, and I was like, oh my gosh, like what if
mhm.
that comes? But it didn't. But
I saw the
it's
Chicago pace car. What I was running the opposite direction, so that was very comforting, but I did see it, and it was a little bit scary.
Mhm. Yeah, like it's daunting. It's I mean, the same thing as like seeing the balloon ladies. Like even if you're a mile and a half ahead of them, like seeing them, you're like, oh gosh, I gotta go.
Yeah.
But the only thing I would say I would do differently is I wish I would have gotten there a little earlier. I had so much FOMO, even though I was not supposed to be here, running the New York City Marathon, of all of the shakeouts, all of the
Mm.
like group runs or like meeting things. I did not get to experience any of that. Partially that was me. I wanted to spend Halloween with my kids. Um, but I had so much FOMO, like with all the shakeout runs and like Celsius and Brooks and Shocks and all these like where you could like meet people and like kind of do that. I wish I would have went down maybe like the day earlier to do that, but everything else like from sightseeing to the race to everything, like I felt complete. I didn't feel like I missed anything. Which was good. That was my goal. But yeah, that would be the only thing I would change.
Well, it can also get somewhat overwhelming with it being your first major, and that's even if you have time to plan. Versus, it can be kind of overwhelming to like like almost like be in the know of like what's happening, right? Like, like I listened to Nobody Asked Us with Des and Kara, to like former professional marathoners, who like I know like there's like the Brooks shakeouts and stuff like so it's kind of one of those things where and I feel like sometimes it can be a little bit like this at Run Disney. Like, if you put yourself back into the shoes of like you when you started doing Run Disney, of like what you didn't know and like how to plan. And like now it's like, oh, yeah, even if you're going from doing your first half to your first full at Run Disney or like, or first 10K to first half, like you at least kind of know some of the process versus here it's a lot different of like, oh, like, it's like, "Oh, I saw this cute," like, I know Chicago had a bunch of like, Lululemon had a lot of cute Chicago merch and stuff like that. I'm like, "Oh," like, I didn't even think of that being a concept of like, I was told about the Nike store and, like, getting to the Nike store, but it's hard to plan. Even if, like, you did, like, kind of, like and it just kind of makes, like, if it's something that you really wanna do, like, something to do later and, like, something to, like, aspire, like, oh, like, even if you don't do New York again, like, oh, like when I do Chicago, what I want to do is I want to make sure I make it to those shakeouts, or I want to do the Abbott
Exactly.
5K, or I want to do, I want to get to the live recording of Nobody Asked Us or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's overwhelming. There's like a lot, and it's like even if like you kind of like I don't know, I'm a pretty diligent person in terms of like my due diligence on things, and it still was kind of like there's just the newness of it. That's
It is. And even like Metal Monday, like people are like, oh, go get your metal engraved. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that would be so cool. Well, we went to like 3 different locations and the waits were like 2 hours long. And I was like, oh, we got to catch a flight
mhm.
tonight to get back home. I was like, I don't want to waste it. Like waiting, like I would love to get my metal engraved, like in New York. Like I feel like that's like the pictures at Magic Kingdom. Like this is the Metal Monday, like in New York to get your metal engraved. But yeah,
Just
no,
take
they had
take it with you to Disney. Get it engraved at Disney.
Yeah.
full circle moment, Hannah. You're so smart.
Plus, then you get photos with your New York medal at the
That's true.
castle,
That's
like
true.
Natalie.
Sure did. Yeah, I was about to. It was like it's kind of like you bring your marathoniers back at Princess Weekend or a different weekend that you're there because the line's a lot shorter and you can get them more quickly. Sometimes within like 20 minutes to get them if you
Yes.
want to get them embroidered. That's advice
Yes.
that or they will ship them as well. But there are certain things where I like having them in my hands and my hat, my metal. I like that in my
Yeah.
hands. To make sure it comes home.
Completely understandable.
Um, but yeah, it's kind of funny because it's like because we're so used to like kind of like our Metal Monday like thing at Disney that like I remember I don't know if I actually got any like sort of Metal Monday pictures in Chicago if I'm being honest with you. I don't think I actually did. I wore that sucker around. Absolutely. But I don't really think I got anything so that my Metal Monday was when I went down for wine and dine. Enough time to recover to look human again.
Yes. I know. I look at my pictures that I took and like I just look so tired. Like I slept so hard the night and then I slept till like 10 a.m. on Monday. But like I look at those pictures, I was like, ooh girl, like you are tired. So I'm like, I'm definitely gonna redo some of those pictures.
It's our battle scars, right? It'd be weird if you
It's
weren't
true.
tired.
That's true. I would be superhuman.
That's
Not
what I
just
say about some of my dopey photos is that I look tired and puffy.
Oh, yeah.
we look like we just went through like 50 miles of a lot.
Which
So, and
which
that's
we
okay.
did. So,
Yeah.
all right. Is there anything you'd like to, I guess, say to the listeners or have advice for those who are thinking about running New York?
Um, do it. Like I have been asked if I would do it again, and if opportunity presented itself, like I joke and I was like, I'm probably gonna put it into the lottery. Like I know I've done this, but like I would 100% do it again. And I also learned like a lesson, and I was telling my kids about this too, is like there's some times where like you have to bet on yourself, and I feel like this definitely was something that I bet on myself for to do this. Like they were like, hey, here's this, and I could have said no. Like I could have been like, nope, like I'm undertrained, like I don't have the time to get to New York. You know, two week planning a New York trip was wild. But like sometimes you just have to bet on yourself. Like you have to be like, no, like for once I need to believe in myself, and like you're capable and you can do these things, you can do hard things. So I think like just bet on yourself and take the opportunities that come, and the doors will open and you'll learn so much about yourself. Like I feel like a new person after New York. Like I truly and honestly do. Like it changed something in me. And yeah, like world majors, man. Like who would have thunk? Like January me would not tell you right now. January me would be like, there's no way you ran 2 marathons in the same year. But you go through your highs and lows of life, and I'm just so happy that the low of the first marathon turned into a high of the second one.
Something changed within you for good.
For good.
Happy Wicked
There
Week.
was a sign. There was a sign that said 19 days till Wicked on the course, and I was like, I respect you. I love you.
Love that. As well as Fiero on Broadway ran and then did a 2-show day.
I could never. I can never.
Yeah, he is. He is superhuman.
Yeah. And like, how do you have a voice? Like, I wasn't screaming, but like, you have to talk loud, or like, you're like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, as you're
Mhm.
talking to people, like, I lost my voice. Like, how do you go and sing after that? There's no way. There's no way.
But he did.
He did.
Jordan Litz, my God.
God love Fiero.
Fiero.
Well, thanks guys for having me.
Thank you for coming on, chit-chatting a little bit about your experience with New York City.
Yeah.
Thanks. We love you.
I love you guys too.
Sweet.
I always love your music after that.
If you enjoy listening to our show, please leave us a review and a 5-star rating. We love reading your reviews out loud, and you might even be featured on a future podcast episode. We have a community spotlight on our Instagram at Stride Sisters Podcast. If you want to be featured for a Metal Monday, Finish Line Friday, or any accomplishment you want to celebrate, send us a picture via our social media platforms or our email. And to continue the fun, join us on our Facebook page. All the ways to connect with us can be found in the show notes. Thanks for listening. Until our next adventure, we're wishing you endless miles of magic and memories. See you next time.